Oh, hello. Right. We are live. God. What a way to start off this stream. Hello, how's it going, everybody? Right. I was going to make a video, but I thought I'd stream instead. I'll probably wait to do a news roundup on Friday before, just in case, you know, there's any extra things. But, you know, we got a new look at Hawkgirl and, Guy Gardner. And, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. You know, I've got a lot to say, but I want to wait for a few more people to get in here and, you know, give their thoughts on it. So, hello to Begsy, Nate, Collier, Logan. I was missing your live, to be honest. Well, it's good to have you here. Boba leg reveal at 200k. Right, so yeah, so let me make sure everything is in order. So, when I first saw the suits, I have to admit I was expecting something else for other suits. It's not that I hate it, but I don't love it. I don't like it nearly as much, or I don't like them as nearly as much as the Superman suit. And I know lots of people are saying things like this isn't their final suit. You know, this is a DC Cinematic Universe, and where I'm sure lots of heroes like Hawkgirl, you know, Guy Gardner as a Green Lantern will change looks. But nevertheless, this is their suit for the movie. I'm sure you guys have put together, as many people are pointing out, that we have the LordTech logo on not only Mr. Terrific suit, like on the under armor area, right where this is where you have the LordTech logo underneath Mr. Terrific suit. You have it underneath Guy Gardner's suit, and you have it underneath Hawkgirl's suit. So this basically does confirm to me that LordTech, Maxwell Lord, is bankrolling this initiative, possibly the Justice League International that we've all been talking about, right? To the point of where they've got some, you know, suits out of it. So the thing that I am a bit underwhelmed with is that I expected for Hawkgirl, to be honest, for her to have a bit more of an armored suit. Not like a, you know, I'm not saying she can't have a jacket, but like Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific has a jacket. Accurate, great. You know, Guy Gardner has a jacket. He's meant to have a jacket, but it doesn't look like the kind of jacket that, you know, Guy Gardner's supposed to have. And now, so that's 3 jackets, and I keep seeing people say, you know, it's giving CW energy, as a bit of a knock on the suits. Now, I like some CW suits, but I will agree with that consensus. Like, it is giving the kind of Arrowverse leather vibes to a lot of these suits, and you know, I am a bit underwhelmed by that, because Superman's suit, as you guys know, despite what anyone's saying out there, I'm one of the people who really like it. especially with more of the good looks that we're getting on set. It's done nothing but make me like it even more. But I have to admit, the Guy Gardner suit, they could have put a lot more green in there. It's kind of like a Carl Rayner, color pattern going throughout it. And Hawkgirl, I think, even though she's a strong character, I just felt like she, are you really going to put like leather pants on her and a leather jacket and a leather do you know what I mean? I didn't expect Black Adam version of Hawkman plated armor, I've always said I don't really want Injustice levels of plating, even though I thought Hawkman looked awesome in that movie, Black Adam. But I just feel like if you've seen, I'm sure many of you watching me right now have seen the photos, and I'm not saying I hate them, I just really expected something a bit more. Now, the reason why they all look fairly similar is because of LordTech, and I see you guys are asking me in the comments, are you sure it's a logo for Maxwell Lord? Yes, absolutely. This is no longer really a theory. On one of the Metropolis store windows, there is like a poster saying, we sell the latest stuff from Samsung. Something else, and then LordTech, and you've got the little LordTech logo above it, which is like this, right? And then that logo is present on Mr. Terrific's suit, it's present on the middle of Guy Gardner's suit, and it's present right bam smack in the middle of Hawkgirl's suit. So, evidently what's going on here is that Maxwell Lord has already created a kind of superhero team. Now, Justice League International could already be a thing. This is something I've been saying for months and months and months anyway, and it's cool to see it come about like this. But I was expecting a bit more independence despite that, because, if you're on the Justice League International, you can still have your own suit, obviously, looking quite independent from one another. I do understand the motivation behind that. If Maxwell Lord's bankrolling something, he kind of wants to give them a similar theme. So it's not only the white in Mr. Terrific's suit, that white is present in Guy Gardner's suit, and that white pattern is present in Hawkgirl's suit. Obviously, they've got some colors of their own, like Guy Gardner has little trims of green, and obviously there's a Green Lantern logo on his belt, there's a Green Lantern logo on his shoulder right here. But I have to admit, I'm just a bit like, and I get the theories, by the way. I totally get the theories that people are saying, so what Maxwell Lord is doing here, maybe it's a bit more of like this analogy or allegory to more of a corporate thing. And with Superman's perhaps refusal to join the Justice League International as it currently stands, sure, they help people out, but it's still being bankrolled by Maxwell Lord. They've all got matching suits that are, mostly white and black, but have a little bit of their own superhero colors onto the suit. Obviously, Hawkgirl has her own Hawkgirl helmet and mace and everything. But ultimately, I get what they're going for there, but I don't know if I like it that much. I don't want to be that kind of person who says like, oh yeah, my expectations were so high, so that's why I'm disappointed. No, honestly, I'm really not one of those people. But I just thought that they would have a bit of, I don't know, I thought the approach to some of the other heroes would be a bit more on point. Like Guy Gardner, I thought he would have his own typical jacket look from that of the comics. He still has a jacket, but it looks, they're all in theme with the team that's being bankrolled by Maxwell Lord. And Hawkgirl, I have to admit, I thought her suit would be a little bit more protective looking. And to those asking, I can't show the photos, but I'll give you a link. Trust me, it pisses me off as much as I know so many of you like, why can't you show the photos, man? Like loads of people, loads of other YouTubers are showing it. And I've been told explicitly by Cleveland.com, so I'm already on their radar that I can't use them. So I don't want to get a copyright strike. So I'm going to put the link in the chat right now, if it will let me. Why isn't it letting me put that in the chat? It's because it's like a really, really long link. Hold on, let me find this. Right, let me try post this. Yeah, no, it's cleveland.com. Right, that link should work in the chat. If you want to see the photos that we're talking about right now, I've just posted the link. Yeah, I might upload this live stream a little bit later, just kind of cut it a little bit. But I want to interact with quite a few of you guys. Either way, I might leave this up. But yeah, I mean, these live streams are always disjointed, so appreciate you all being here. There's like roughly 300 of you here. JD, welcome to membership. Appreciate you, man. Buster Barnes, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. I don't mind Guy Gardner, as I reckon he'll be a corporate shill a-hole throughout. Could be wrong. Is Metamorpho in the blue? So apparently the person in the kind of blue mocap-y kind of thing is not Metamorpho. Apparently, it's just some other situation where they're going to be CG'd out. You know, they can easily get rid of that. But apparently, I thought initially it was Metamorpho as well, but somebody close to set is saying that apparently it isn't. So yeah, I know this is like my fresh reaction, by the way. I have got a couple of clips to show in a second that I do have permission to use of them making their superhero entrance, Superman included. You know, we have Mr. Terrific land with his kind of jetpack, if you will, his exoskeleton. We have, you know, Hawkgirl fly in and the crowd run up to Superman. It's a bit of a blurry piece of footage, but yeah, you guys know me. I always take a really level-headed approach, but in my own subjective opinion here, I'm not a massive, like, I'm not feeling these suits massively. I do like, you know, there are, you know, aspects of it that I do like. You know, obviously we expected Nathan Fillion's bowl cut for Guy Gardner. It's not that I don't like Guy Gardner's suit. I just feel like even with Maxwell Lord and his LordTech and this Justice League International thing, or perhaps a proto-Justice League International that they're launching here, with the fact that they're all wearing suits bankrolled by, just in case you're joining here, they are all wearing suits from LordTech. That is, like, I'm so confident about that now. They've all got the logo on there. I'll be doing like a news roundup on Friday, getting a bit more into this, hopefully. But I just wish they were still a bit more individual. They don't have to be so, you know, like X-Men. They kind of, you know, in the old movies wore like the same kind of outfits, yet with a little bit of difference, giving each X-Men their own flair. It feels like that to me. I do like the logo. I mean, it's just weird to me that Guy Gardner is a Green Lantern. He's got the Lantern logo on his shoulder. He's got the Lantern logo on his belt. But he's got like a LordTech logo right in the center, where normally you would have the Lantern logo. And by the way, I do need to stress, this isn't how Jordan and John Stewart are going to look in the, you know, Lantern series. Again, I kind of agree with what Buster Barnes said. This theory that's going around with regards to, you know, maybe, you know, I know people are comparing it to The Boys. I wouldn't go that far with corporate soups or anything, but if you mix this up with the reverse Kingdom Come theory, with how there's a world like overrun with superheroes and metahumans, there's plenty of good eggs out there like Batman, Corin Sweat Superman, doing a good job, but there are some corporate sponsored heroes, if you will, who are heroes in of their own right, and I'm sure have, you know, their own moral compass that is respectable. Like, I don't think Hawkgirl is an asshole per se, but I can imagine that Maxwell Lord and other people, perhaps even, for example here, the equivalent with Lex Luthor, and, of course, the Engineer, and whoever that Ultraman Black Noir figure is. There's certain people in control with groups, just like how Amanda Waller, you know, is in charge of the Black Ops groups, Creature Commandos, and Checkmate, and the Agency. I think Maxwell Lord's introduction with Sean Gunn, whenever we get him, he's already, as of when we pick up with Superman, leading his own Justice League International team, and that's why you have the LordTech logo branding on the suits. But there's still aspects about it that I'm not a massive fan of, and I'll get to the super chats in just a second. I'm just going to look at the suits again. So I'm looking at the suit on screen right now. I think the Guy Gardner suit is fine. I think I even, believe it or not, prefer it to Hawkgirl's suit. I think Hawkgirl's mask is great and everything, but Guy Gardner, the thing that I find that bothers me a bit is that it is quite different to what his comic book suit is like, and sure, you can entertain the fact that he has another suit outside of his LordTech Justice League International team suit, sure, but the fact remains that this is quite different, and maybe you could argue that Superman encourages these other heroes to break off from the corporate team that they're in. So maybe it's like, hey, find your own thing. Like, I'm my own superhero. I'm Superman. I've got my own costume. Maybe you guys should do your own thing rather than trying to convince me to join. And that could, obviously mean that by the time we see Guy Gardner in the Lantern series, that he could have his actual comic book jacket accurate look. Now, Hawkgirl, yeah, like I'm looking at Hawkgirl now, and it's not so much the pattern or the way that they've done her suit with like the golden aspects, like the trimmings going throughout her legs and the gold on the side of her jacket, but then you've got like the LordTech white that is in the middle of the suit, the same as on Mr. Terrific's and of course Guy Gardner's. But there's something, I think I'm just disappointed in the material. It really is just, typical mid-2010s kind of CW Arrowverse vibes, and that's not necessarily a dig, by the way. That's not me disrespecting the Arrowverse per se, even though I'm sure many of you don't like that. But the reason why I point that out is because I don't want more of the same type of costume design, such as the Arrowverse's leather pants going into boots and stuff like that, in a hundreds of millions of dollars Superman DCU movie. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a fair point. Yeah, I agree, Toby. Her helmet looks great. I think her helmet looks great. I think she looks good, but it's just, is this what I'm happy with? Like, not really. Like, I wanted her to have a bit more of like a high production feeling suit that isn't leather. Because the thing about this is that it does, for Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, it does just look like leather jackets they've put on and spray painted like a plastic kind of van brace for his wrist here. And that's it. Like, that's it. That is it. Like, and for Hawkgirl, like, she has the same thing: leather jacket, leather pants, and just a soft kind of hardened leather or plastic like looking shoulder pauldron, which is not even looking metallic. It's just I don't know. I'm just a bit underwhelmed with the suits there, but that's fine, Mr. Terrific, I still think looks great, but I think it's quite funny how he's like flying around in his like jet thing there. I think he's still learning the ropes a bit, but I think that's intentional. I hope that they don't make too much comedy with Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific like floating around the place in his thing. And I'm about to show you the video that I've got, and we'll go over to this screen here in a second. But I've got a couple of super chats to read out, and I haven't really even read your chats as of right now. So let's get into that. Well, that's the thing. No Chill says, Hawkgirl looks good, but Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner suits look too similar. Well, I do think this is very much so a deliberate thing. Don't forget that Maxwell Lord, who is, the head of LordTech, has obviously at this point got a team. Whether it's the Justice League International or it's like a precursor to that, they look similar for a reason. I know Hawkgirl's arguably sets up the biggest change out of Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl, but she's still got the white on the middle of her suit, just with some... It's the same thing as Guy Gardner. He's got like little green trims here, like little green trims, and Hawkgirl's got her trimmings of gold. But overall, it's like LordTech white. And that could change. I do want to say that. I know it's fascinating seeing the discourse between both sides of the fandom, because lots of people take the piss out of people who say that, saying, oh, you're just coping. There's got to be a second suit. It will look better. It looks deliberately bad. No, we're just entertaining a theory saying that, like, what if they shake off Maxwell Lord and then, get their own suit? It's not excusing whatever you may think about the reveal today, but there could be another suit. But I do agree. Yeah, people were saying that it kind of looks... why does Dr. Manhattan look so cheap? Yeah, a lot of people are saying that's Dr. Manhattan in the little blue kind of, I don't know, gimp suit or whatever. Right, okay, so I've got a couple of super chats to read out. Thank you so much, guys, for sending those in. It really does help support the channel. Right. Right. And obviously, yes, Hawkgirl is going to have CGI wings with the way she flies in. And we're about to get into that video in a second, but I don't know how else to say it other than when I'm looking at this photo right now, it's just too much like a leather, like what people were saying about the Superman suit, where, you know, where they were like, it's like a two-piece bike jacket and leggings kind of situation. I was like, no, it's not. But now I kind of feel that with Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl. And it's fine with Guy Gardner because, again, his Green Lantern look is kind of like that. But the thing is, they've given him the LordTech color scheme, so it doesn't really look so much like Guy Gardner as I think people wanted. And then Hawkgirl, it's just like, why is Hawkgirl wearing like a bike suit? I thought she would be a bit more warrior-esque, and all she's got to show for that is maybe some bandagey kind of like hand straps and a mace and her helmet. Other than that, it's like a bike suit. And by the way, I'm going to put the link to the photos in the chat again, and I'm going to pin them just so you can see them for yourself. Right, actually, I'm going to pin this one instead. Right. None of this matters. They all look great. I'm glad you think so. Again, guys, we all have different opinions. So, like, you know, whether you love the look of Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, that is fine. If you really don't like it, that is fine, you know? I really like the Superman suit, and there's plenty of you who do not like the Superman suit. So, you know, I'm just not as fond of this as I wanted to be. That's basically it. And, you know. Anyway, so we have Sequential Art Chick send in a $5 super chat, which I'm about to get to. Yusuf's like, hey, Bubba, what do you think of the suits? Well, I've been going on about it. Don't worry, I'll go over my thoughts again, but I want to answer a few super chats first. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Is the music too loud, by the way? I don't want the music to be too loud. Right, so what if this is the DCU Terrific team? They all look similar. I wonder if Holt doesn't have his own tech corporation that is a big part of his lore. So no, I see some people say that this is like the Terrifics. I don't think so. Like, this is way more akin to Justice League International. Like, you know, the Terrifics, like, as far as I'm aware, Guy Gardner isn't so much of a thing in that at all. It's Metamorpho. It is Michael Holt's Mr. Terrific. You've got Plastic Man in there and a couple of other characters. This is more in line with Justice League International, where you literally do have Hawkgirl on that. So definitely not the Terrifics. I think people are saying that. I think the Terrifics is going to be like another thing in the DCU that we maybe get to, but as of what we're seeing right now, like, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl are more akin to the fact that we do have Maxwell Lord Lordtech logos on all of their suits, and so they're bankrolled by LordTech. This is telling me it's, if not already, they're established with the title of Justice League International. It is like the beginnings of that. Maybe it's just an experimental team for now that they send out as a bit of a, as what people keep saying with the theory, a bit of a corporate kind of soup-sponsored thing. But not quite the boys, where they're pretty useless. I'm sure these guys really do try. But yeah. So I would say Justice League International. Yeah, lots of people are calling that logo a JL. I don't know if I agree with that so much. I guess you could say it's like a JLI, but I think it's open to interpretation. But no matter what, it's LordTech. We know that for a fact now. The LordTech logo has that thing above it, and then LordTech. They're not separate, by the way, like I originally thought. But yeah, I don't think it's the DCU Terrific team. No, I think it is the Justice League International. I'm guessing this guy isn't a Green Lantern, Sean Brewer says. So no, I do think he is a Green Lantern. I think that's quite evident from the photos if you look at it. We see that there's the Green Lantern logo on there. We see that he's wearing the Lantern ring. So yeah, like Guy Gardner is still very much so a Green Lantern. It's just, I guess he's a part of the Justice League International on Earth, which is, you know, the same in the comics. But in the comics, they don't give them a team suit per se. Whereas in the DCU here, each Justice League International team member has a similar themed suit, bankrolled by Lordtech. Instead of having truly their own look. I would say that the person who differentiates themselves most is Hawkgirl, just because she has the, you know, the helmet and stuff. But, yeah. He's definitely a Lantern, no doubt about that. You can see it very evidently on the photos. But yeah, no, I'm looking at it right now. And it's quite a thick lantern ring, to be fair. Can't really make it out very well, but it's definitely on his finger. Let me bring this down a bit more. There we go. Right, who else do we have here? Okay, so Buster Barnes. Is that another £5, my friend? Thank you so much. So Buster Barnes says it could be, it could maybe be for general audiences as well as to why they are in similar outfits to make it more obvious where each character stands in this movie. I mean, I guess, but I don't think that's so much of a concern. I get what you're saying, like, oh, hey, look, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. But I don't think that would be the reason, because even if you had these other characters, like Hawkgirl flying with, let's just say it was a different looking suit to what we got to what was revealed today, and Guy Gardner had more of his comic book accurate green with like the kind of flap going over the jacket. I don't think there would be any mistake as to like, hey, this is a good guy. I do get what you're saying, but I can't imagine that's the reason. I don't think, you know, the MCU suffers from highlighting who are the protagonists with their own individual suits. So I think, you know, this is just a bit of innovation, and that's always going to be a bit subjective on it. Well, everything's subjective, but the innovation being that the Justice League International, you know what, let me throw something up on screen here. If I show you this. So, as you guys should be aware, or maybe you're not, but the Justice League International, they, you know, have their own suits. Like, there's Guy Gardner. You obviously got a bit of Batman in there. It's going to be interesting if something ever develops into that. But now in the DCU, you can kind of imagine these guys being bankrolled by none other than good old Maxwell Lord here, right? There he is, little interesting man. I was about to say bastard, but then again, I don't think James Gunn's going to make him evil. A lot of people seem to be under the wrong impression there. He is bankrolling all of these people here. You know, imagine that's just like the people today. And with their suits being revealed, and they've all got like a team suit. They have a little bit of their own flair to their suit. So, hey, Guy Gardner, you're a lantern? You're a lantern? Okay, like, so you're still going to have the Lordtech logo in the middle, right? Okay, good. All right, you know what? I'll give you the lantern logo on your shoulder and maybe your belt. Oh, you know what? I'll even chuck in some green trims going down your... Other than that, though, you have to have the Lordtech logo and the white bit going throughout your suit. That goes for you as well, Hawkgirl. I know. Look, you can wear your helmet. You can have your mace. Maybe I'll give you a gold trim in there, but I'm sorry, you have to have the Lordtech logo in the middle of your suit with the white Lordtech color theme. And Mr. Terrific, you already know where you stand. Your suit looks pretty much damn accurate anyway, but yet you also have to have the Lordtech logo on your suit. But that's okay, because this is kind of in your color scheme anyway. And that's where we're at, basically. I think I don't like how there's a leather look even for Hawkgirl. I wanted hers to be a bit more armored, if you get what I mean. Guy Gardner, fine. I know I keep repeating myself here, but I keep trying to articulate it because I see there's new people coming in all the time. However, I think he would have looked way better with the actual Guy Gardner leather jacket, leather combination, if you will, in that of the comics. But I get it. They're evidently going for a team suit situation that matches. I wouldn't be surprised, man, like, if they try and recruit Superman, but he's like, no, I'm my own dude, even though I'm going to maybe join the Justice League one day if I'm not already. Again, this, you know, brings into question, if they're really leaning into the Justice League International, what is the status of the Justice League? Really, I've always thought of Hawkgirl with a pretty leathery look. I think, for me, I get what you're saying, because I also do like the kind of skin-tight, armored look as well, but I think for me, it's more of how it is, it's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's not a disrespect to the CW for me, because I'm not going to pretend as if I wasn't a fan of, you know, plenty of those shows, and their suits, you know, some suits way more than others, obviously. But it does feel like a retread of some superhero. It's not innovative to me. I was hoping that the DCU, with what Gunn did, it ticked my box of the Superman suit, right? I personally really like it. It's classical, yet, you know, modernized. It's got innovation in there. It's got homage and tribute in there. I'm personally a big fan, right? But I do feel like the Hawkgirl suit, mixed with Guy Gardner, that's a bit more out there because, you know, Guy Gardner does have a jacket, and so does Hawkgirl in some instances. But what I'm trying to say is I didn't want them to do the approach of the CW kind of bike leggings. Maybe if it was a bit more, I don't know if I want to say otherworldly material, but just something that is a bit more textured, rather than, like, honestly, go to a motorcycle shop, right? And you can get plenty of leathery motorcycle-looking pants, right? And that is what she's wearing, going into, like, it's like a one-piece motorcycle leggings into boots, and I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just saying, hey, I wanted a bit more of, like, a, hey, look at the material of her helmet, and look at, like, the kind of bandage-looking gloves that she has. They're cool. But she just kind of chucks a jacket and some motorcycle leggings. I just feel like we've been here before with a Superman DCU Cinematic Universe movie. My criticisms would be, could you not have found some kind of texture in the costume department that kind of makes her look a little bit more, I don't know, just something that isn't leather. I don't know. Leather is, I think, something we've seen too much at this point. I think it would have been fine just kept to Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner. And obviously, because Mr. Terrific looks great already, but Guy Gardner, my criticism there would be at least give him a bit more green, you know. Even with, you know, me bearing in mind that it is a Team LordTech sponsored suit, if you will. But anyway, sorry, I keep rambling. I think Superman looks, I think the thing about Superman is when you see him on the sheen of the screen, like, we already know that he's a Kryptonian, so I think the powerful feeling that you're talking about there will be inherent. And I think the same thing, hopefully, with Hawkgirl and stuff, but I don't know. Like, Guy Gardner having the Green Lantern ring using his powers, it kind of works with his costume, but with Hawkgirl, I feel like she can have a bit more warrior incorporated into the rest of her suit as well, versus then, like, that of just a leather jacket and pants and maybe a bit of a hardened helmet. Sorry, I keep getting so sidetracked here. Sean Brewer with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Right, I'm gonna dedicate myself to these super chats for the next couple of minutes, and then I'll show you the video of when they land, which I'm sure some of you have seen already, but... Alright, so Sean says, perhaps Gardner was discharged from the cause and now works on Maxwell Lord's funded team with tech to mimic his power ring. This would explain his look, just a theory. I don't think so. I mean, never say never, obviously, but, you know, Guy Gardner has been a part of, you know, Maxwell Lord's team before and still a part of the Green Lanterns. I don't think that would really be a conflict of interest. You know, it's just like how you can have Hal Jordan in the Justice League while also being a part of the Lantern Corps. So I don't think that's the case. If anything, I think maybe Eddie Gathegi, and I get into this a bit more in a video that hopefully I can release soon. I'm just waiting on a sponsor to say when I can release it. But I get into a bit how I think Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific could be Maxwell Lord's top guy in the R&D department of LordTech. So, you know, with him designing his T-spheres and everything else, I think he could be the figurehead of Maxwell Lord's department, and that'd be pretty cool. But I don't know if there would be like a discharging situation of Guy Gardner. I think he's all right. Gardner was kicked out of the Corps at one point. I know what you mean, but I don't know if we're going to get there like day dot in Superman. I mean, that's why I also said, like, never say never, but I think it'd be kind of strange to, like, start off, unless they could do that, and then he kind of walks his way back, but I don't know. By the way, if you've just joined the stream, if you look at the top pinned comment of the live chat, you can see a link to the suit photos, so, you know, you can get those out, and you can hear me talk about it on stream. Unfortunately, I know plenty of other people show it on their videos, but, I can't. I'm not allowed to. And if you're wondering why, for another time, basically, I got contacted by the people who have taken these photos, and they're like, "We do not let you. We refuse. We refuse." And it's like, well, damn. So, you know, I've had it before where people like that have copyright strike to my channel, so I'm not risking it, no matter what. No matter what. Brutal's probably busy on his way back from work or whatever. But yeah, trust me, I absolutely detest it, because seeing everybody else post the photos and stuff like that in their videos and get away with it, and it's like a nice guys finish last situation, if you know what I mean. I am a bit salty about it, because, like, I'm following the rules. I'm not making videos with photos without permission, yet you're denying me to be able to use your photos when nobody else even, like, doesn't even give you the courtesy of freaking asking you. Thanks. Like, that's how I feel about that. Freaking But there, by the way, you know, that's not to say that there aren't some great people out there who I've featured in my videos who have allowed me to use some of their set photos, so they're legends. Like OBV Photography, Michael, and, you know, Greater Cleveland Partnership. Right, I'm trying to find the next super chat, Sean. Yeah, Sean, I will bear that in mind. It will go in my memory bank of theories. Go to Cleveland and take your own photos. I mean, I wish I could. I wish I could. I need my own Jimmy Olsen. Which one of you is willing to go down to Cleveland and spy on the Superman set? I can feed you in Boba coin. Oh god. No, don't worry, I'm not starting my own crypto. We're not doing that. Anyway, Buster Barnes sends it. Wait, is this your third super chat this stream? Thank you very much, buddy. Really appreciate that support. If you guys want a question answered, like prioritized, excuse me, you can send in super chats. It really supports the channel. You do not have to do so. But just bear with me while I try and get my head screwed on back to the live chat. But Authority in mainly black, Justice League International mainly in white, Superman is the only colorful one. Maybe that's intentional. I get where you're going with that. That could be intentional. But I would argue that looking at Hawkgirl right now on my screen, she is pretty colorful. I know she's got the LordTech white color scheme there with the black, but she has got her helmet on, which is, I think, gives her a lot of identity. And the gold in her suit, to me, is way more prominent than what we have with Guy Gardner's low-key green. Like, he has a bit of low-key green trimmed throughout it, but yeah. I definitely... Well, I would say that I wouldn't doubt that they do get another suit at some point. Now, if that's in the same movie, I don't know about that. This is like a cinematic universe, so I have no doubt that they'll get like more of like a cool-looking Like, you know, does it have to be by LordTech? Like, can't they have their own suit? Like, Superman has his own suit situation. But I do think that the LordTech supplied suits that they're wearing will be what you see probably for the whole film. Because I don't think it's going to end here. Don't forget how the whole Justice League International thing I've been speaking about for months now. And, you know, this isn't hard to speculate about. But ever since Maxwell Lord was cast as Sean Gunn, I've been like, oh, okay, so let's look into this. Who else do we have in the movie? A Guy Gardner. Okay, where else can we go with this? And then we spoke about Justice League International. And we spoke about Booster Gold is getting his own series. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not actually here in present day yet, and that could be an origin, and Maxwell Lord recruits him to the same bankrolled superhero team that you're seeing in these suit photos today, wearing the LordTech logo, LordTech supplied suits, etc., etc. So do you see what I mean? This is why I think these suits will remain throughout the whole movie for these characters. Because if, and granted this is just speculation, but if Booster Gold joins Maxwell Lord's superhero team, and that's possibly a few years away, then unless one of these members quits the team, you're going to have these superhero suits probably maintain into more of a Justice League International subplot that happens throughout several projects in the DCU. So obviously Superman, they're kind of introduced here. Hey, look, Maxwell Lord Lordtech. Hey, look, we're wearing a Maxwell Lord Lordtech suit. That carries on into other projects. Maybe Peacemaker Season 2 with some bits and bobs we learn about there, but maybe not. But obviously Booster Gold is the next, I would say, checkpoint for that. Because he's another, where is it? Going all over the place right now. Booster Gold is, where is he on those freaking photos? I always show this comic book panel. Why did I accidentally open up Photoshop? There we go. Right. This is kind of the situation of what's going on right now. So I think something like that is basically what's going on. Now, obviously, Maxwell Lord is a bit self-serving. Again, he's not going to be evil. James Gunn's already spoken about this. I think he said that's quite reductive on the character. Don't get me wrong, he's not like a good guy. He's a bit of a sleazebag. Does some good, ultimately, or can do. And I think that's the arc they're going for with Sean Gunn's version. Booster is all about the sponsors. Right. But yeah, Buster, I see where you're going with that, and that could be something that they might want to do. You know, I mean, you are saying that, you know, the engineer does have a black suit, as we know, but I am wondering if in post-production they plan to make that kind of, you know, silvery chrome looking. If they're able to do that, because that suit with the patterns that it's already got on it would be great. I'm gonna have to wait and see. Low-key confident we aren't getting an armored Batman. I mean, I swear to God, like, look, even though I understand what they're doing with the Guy Gardner suit and Hawkgirl suit, and I don't love it, but I just don't hate it kind of thing, I swear to God, if they gave the leather pants kind of thing to Batman, I will not be happy. This, like, no, please just no. Whether you like or dislike these suits today, guys, that, again, you can check for yourself in the pinned comment. Look at Hawkgirl's suit and the jacket, or, like, Guy Gardner's suit, and tell me you want that on Batman. No, No. We need some kind of... I don't mind a bit of skin-tight Kevlar weave situation, by the way. But he has to have some kind, like, high-tech stuff. Like, in the DCU Batman, they've got to go... Like, I don't mind if they kind of go Arkham Games style of, you know, a bit of armor, a bit of, like, you know, skin-tight stuff. I'd be okay with that, all right? But I do not believe that it's... I know we're in a suspend your disbelief universe, but I do not think that completely Adam West pajama-style skin-tight spandex is a realistic thing. It's just not. You do have to kind of be logical with how Batman isn't Hawkgirl. He doesn't have her abilities. He doesn't have a Green Lantern ring. But yes, he's trained well. But his bones, he goes out on bone-breaking missions. He needs to have a suit that has a bit more pleasing armored aesthetics than what we're seeing in the photos that were revealed today. Which is why, by the way, I'm a bit surprised by Hawkgirl's aesthetic, but at the same time, she is a super strong character. So, you know, maybe she doesn't quite need it as much as Batman would, perhaps. So, you know. Anyway, next super chat, if I can find it. Oh man, I'm a bit behind. Alright, so Thunder Knight, I have lost your super chat in terms of bringing it up on screen, but I can see it on my other screen, but in a different format, so let me just make that a bit bigger. Thank you very much for the $5, by the way, Thunder Knight. Really appreciate you. Hey, Boba, do you think they'll get more classic suits towards the end? By the way, what do you think of Superman hanging out with the kids? So, I know I keep teasing that video. We'll get into that in just a second. Actually, you know what? I'll bring it up on screen right now. So, by the way, just spoiler warning, if you don't want to see anything, I mean, if you've seen the suit photos, there's nothing to be spoiled about here, but it's quite a cute scene where you see Superman just, like, get like, barraged by some kids, and he's like, hey, you know, like, I can't wait for scenes like that in this movie where Superman is just loved by everyone. So, Thunder Knight. Do I think they'll get more classic suits towards the end? I think I already covered that with what I said a second ago with how if they're part of the Justice League International and, you know, they've got these themed suits, I don't think they'll go away from that anytime soon. Like, I don't get why they would have dedicated team suits and then just be like, no, I'm going to turn my jacket green now, or whatever it is. No, so I'm going to show it on screen in just a second. Again, it's not mega spoilers, but you don't have to be here for the next couple of minutes if you don't want to see it. What the hell? What is going on here? Right, okay. Right, I found it. Okay. Right, so you see Hawkgirl come in, you see Superman come in. So Hawkgirl flies in at the beginning. It will probably repeat in a second. Right, so you see Guy Gardner walking there with his, you know, white jacket. This is what I mean, like... And Hawkgirl, like, so you see how at the front there... They've all got their, like... It's LordTech themed, clothing. Like, it's... Obviously, Mr. Terrific has got his own little kind of exoskeleton situation going on with the jetpacks. But you can see from behind, even Hawkgirl with her helmet, they've all got, like, the white LordTech theme in the middle of their suits, but they have a bit of, like, trimmings, if you know what I mean. Like, so Guy Gardner would have a bit of a green trim, and sure, there'd be the Green Lantern logo here and on his belt. But in the middle, they've got the LordTech logo. But it's cute there. Obviously, this is just after a save or something they've done, and, you know, the kids just rush to Superman, and he picks them up and, like, carries a couple of them. You can see this in some photos on set as well. But that's adorable. Right there, that is adorable. Really adorable. But you can see how the other heroes are interacting with the people in the audience, you know? If I just pull that up there, you can see like in some of the other photos as well. You can see Guy Gardner like talking in an interview. So perhaps this is all a part of it as well. I don't think they're all like, again, like the boys and Soups thirsty for attention. But I do think maybe they're encouraged to do a bit of that because obviously if you're being bankrolled by LordTech and Maxwell Lord himself, I think he wants the good press out of it. And this, again, as some people are suggesting, could be a bit of an allegory to that of corporate-hosted heroes, if you will, in this situation in the DCU. Which, you know, Superman is not beholden to because he's his own hero. And I think that will be a similar theme with that of Lex Luthor as well, not being able to control Superman. We do have another video here of like, it's quite funny. Superman just comes out of a little hole in the ground. And we have Guy Gardner just land. So he's suspended in air, then he lands down. Superman comes out of a little... I don't know what, like, they're going to CG there. Like, is that like a hole in the ground or what? But he just came out of that hole in the ground. And then he speaks to Guy Gardner. Again, I get it's a team suit. I do get that it's a team suit. But I wish they had individual suits as per, you know, Justice League International do. But I'm not against doing new things, but it's just not really what is so up my street. Even though they are the characters. Because I'm sure Nathan Fillion will do great. I think Isabella Merced will do a really good young Hawkgirl. But just, I don't know. I'm just not in love with the LordTech sponsored suits. Right, let's see what you guys are saying about that. But shout out to Thunder Knight there for reminding me to get into... But yeah, like, it was very, very cute when you had, where is it? Is it this one? No. Yeah, Superman just, like, you get a bunch of kids, like, rush into him. That does melt my heart. Look at him, and he just picks a few of them up. And he's now, like, talking to them. They're giving him high fives. That's really awesome. Really, really awesome. Nuka-Cola Chris, it's not called Legacy anymore. Is it just called Superman? It is just called Superman, yeah. They got rid of Legacy. And I still think that gives us quite a big clue. With the more that we're learning about this movie, I do think that, you know, Legacy is meant to be Superman inspiring a new legacy for all heroes. I think it's kind of roughly that in a nutshell. Then, like, Gunn thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to just call it Superman because this is still, like, a mainly Superman story. See that Campier has uploaded a video about it. And zero effects are given again. No credit to the people who took the... Like, again, why do I bother, man? Why do I bother? How soon can we expect a trailer? Well, Gunn said that we wouldn't see anything this year. So, I'm hoping that he goes back on that. And... because they could easily have some kind of something to tease, you know, by December. But apparently, you know, according to James Gunn, there's nothing this year. Nothing. Right. So from Silhouetted Animator, I think Maxwell Lord will be like Xanatos from Gargoyles, or a neutral or necessary evil character. I get what you're saying now. I think Gunn's definitely going to crack open these characters like he does, and especially with the clue that he gave us with how Maxwell Lord isn't an evil character, especially not in some of the runs that he mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's some decisions that he makes whenever we see him make whatever decisions, because again, I think he might just be referenced in this movie rather than Sean Gunn appearing. We're gonna have to wait and see. But I do see that he might make some unpopular decisions that might give him the image, as you said, like a neutral necessary evil that makes him look like the douchebag billionaire. But yeah, I totally agree. I think there's gonna be a bit of a kind of exploration there of how there is more to him, but he's still kind of I was about to say nuanced, but as you said, he's nuanced. I think he will like pursue selfish goals, and that's the image that he's got out there, but there'll also be a bit of selfless in there with regards to the Justice League International, but then behind the Justice League International, what is his other motive? Like, what does he want to get out of that, really? All while he does want to do a bit of good as well. It's a bit of like, you know, quid pro quo, or however you say it. Something, you know, hey, if you give something a bit to me, I'll give something to you, so it looks like I'm helping out the people. Hey, you got a team here, but what do I get out of it? Something like that. But I think maybe his arc will change him the more things unfold. Brian Walsh, thank you very, very, very much for the $2 super chat. Let me pull that up. Sorry, Silhouetted, I couldn't find the screenshot for your previous one. But my chat has loaded back up to Brian Walsh's. Rumors that will be rotoscope like Spider-Verse. What? Superman? I don't think so. What are we talking about? Like, are you talking about an animation? Like Creature Commandos? Or... Because I'm kind of confused right now because I do not know what I was talking about at the time. That's a confusing question. Yeah, I can't remember the context of this one. Like the Fleischer cartoons. But, if we're talking about Superman, that's not animated. So, I'm going to have to wait and see what Brian meant by that. Or are you talking about maybe like the implementation of visual effects? Marvel did these animated Ant-Man shorts in 2010s that looked rotoscoped. Did they? Something like that I could meant for Creature Commandos. For the premise of the overall theme of them. Maybe. Spider-Verse isn't even rotoscope. I have to admit, I have no idea. Terrifics would be perfect for a video game. That would be pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. Imagine being Plastic Man. I honestly don't know, Jurassic. I haven't really... I don't know. But Brian, either way, my friend, thank you for the super chat. But I'll keep an eye out for another chat from you, just maybe to get some extra context. You'd have to think, yeah, that Metamorpho is both practical and CGI. There's no way that you can do Metamorpho without doing some kind of visual effects on the character. Jay Johnson Creations, thank you very... Thank you for the £2 super chat. What if they're just called the Justice Lords? You never know. What do I always say? Adaptations don't copy and paste, so that's what Lord could be doing. Something like that. Sorry, I'm just checking out Twitter to make sure like nothing else has dropped, because I think they're still filming right now. But nothing brand new is popping up, at least as of right now. I know there's some stuff flowing around out there about the Hall of Justice and whatnot, and again, I might wait till Friday to make a video about that. Yeah, but I'm not seeing anything brand new, just in case anyone is wondering. It seems that it's kind of calmed down for a minute. Alright. Yeah, again, I've said that I don't know if the Justice League is a thing at the moment. I can imagine how it could be in some ways, but I think what we're going with right now is, you know, a proto kind of league situation with the Justice League International. Remember, Superman hasn't been active too long, so has he really already joined the Justice League? Maybe. Again, I entertain a lot of this in a video coming out soon. Yeah, they're filming in Cincinnati soon. I think very soon, in the next few days maybe, or is it next week? Can't remember. But again, guys, it's kind of crazy to remember Superman wraps filming this month. So, not too long to go, given, you know, it's just a few weeks away. No, I think it's action-packed. I think what they're doing is Justice League International. They could be. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have entertained the idea of the Superman Legacy title pertaining to how, you know, a few of them, like, it might not be the original Mr. Terrific. It might, you know, technically Guy Gardner isn't the OG Lantern and whatnot. But I think what they're getting into is Justice League International. Right. The Justice Lords. Thank you very much, Jay. Richard Lai, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Mr. Terrific would be the type. Where is the... There we go. Mr. Terrific would be the type of hero listening to MF Doom or alternative hip-hop acts like Run the Jewels or Sarface. a friend of both Gun Brothers. Well, you never know. And that reminds me, by the way, because I had a conversation last night, and I've seen a lot of it happen on Twitter today, of, you know, what kind of... It's weird to imagine, this is James Gunn after all. What kind of songs are we going to get in this movie? And Officer Martinez over on Twitter trolled a lot of people into thinking that Starman was going to be in the film, when it's not. Gunn has already confirmed that Starman isn't going to be in the film. But, you know, Richard's question here has made me think, oh yeah, what kind of songs are they going to put in? Because you'd have to think there's going to be a couple of needle drops. Wrapping this month, yeah. Don't forget, it's been filming since February 29th. That's all of March, all of April, all of May, all of June, and now we're into July. It's been 4 months already. Yeah, I agree, Silhouetted. I really hope so, because I want like a prequel story for the JSA. Calvin, I will get into that more in depth in another video soon. I mean, we've been rambling about it for the past hour here, but I'll probably repeat myself in a minute or two. But just trying to get through a few more super chats, because again, shout out to all of you who've sent in some super chats. It really does mean a lot. Creative Burst, we have another $10 one here. Thank you very, very, very much. So the only place I've seen them together is... Okay, so is this the logo? So I think I know exactly what you're going to say. So the only place I've seen them together is on a store ad with a bunch of brand, and the designs don't look like they go together, and they just sit on top of each other. So I originally thought that as well, Creative Burst. So long story short, on that shopping window, the argument is, what if those logos are separate? I thought that could be the case originally, but, and that's because on the right-hand side, you have a logo for another thing, and it has the logo above it. And I thought, what if they are separate? But the thing is, the store has, like, on the, you know, the logo to the right-hand side, I wish I had the picture on me right now, but basically, that logo, that other logo that was on top of, like, whatever Something and Sons shop it was, they were together. So I'm very confident that the LordTech one with the logo above it as well were together. I'm very, very confident that the logo on the shop window advertisement, just because it's above the LordTech logos, doesn't mean that they're separate. I originally thought that, but look at the other shop or like brand on the right-hand side, and that has a logo above it. But then you can zoom out on the shop, and you'll see that little logo is also alongside the shop name. So, long story short, Creative Burst, because I'm very poor at articulating myself there. So confident this is Maxwell Lord and LordTech. That logo on not only Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl's, and Guy Gardner's chest is LordTech. Soldier69, it's odd how we haven't seen Sean Gunn in Cleveland yet, or word of him doing filming. I don't know if he's even going to be in Superman. It could just be like loose references for now, or maybe if he does film a scene to expand something out in the film, it could be like on a soundstage behind closed doors, if you know what I mean. Like, Maxwell Lord doesn't need to be out in the streets with the heroes. Brutal Vengeance made it. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you here, man. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Creative Burst. I also originally thought that, but then I kind of looked at it again, and then I realized that they are actually the same. So wait. I've got a photo here. Right. So you see that there. You see Quietly and Sons Electronics, and you see that little circle logo. You see that little circle logo? This is from Erik Drost, by the way. Right, so that little circle logo, and you see, wait, I'm gonna have to zoom in a lot here. It's really irritating how it works. So you see that poster there. We offer the largest selection of LordTech, Samsung, Quietly and Sons. You see how on, right, bear with me. We have to do things very anciently here. Right, let me pull it up. Let me freaking pull it up. There we go. Right. You see that? You see how the Quietly and Sons logo has the little circle logo above it. Right? You see that? You see that shit? You also see how LordTech on the left has the LordTech logo above it. They are the same, like, as in, like, each logo with the logo, each branding with the logo above it is the same thing, because you look at the store, Quietly and Sons Electronics, and there's the logo. Now on the poster, that little circle logo there is above it. You see that? Quietly and Sons on the right-hand side of that we offer the largest selection of. And so LordTech with the logo above it, I thus conclude is a part of the LordTech branding. Does that make sense? I hope I made that clear. I'm not sure. But as a result, that's how we know LordTech, that logo is LordTech. Oh, wow. Brutal. What the hell, man? Like, not even 2 minutes into the stream and already a Mahusive. Where are the Brutal shades? I don't have, oh God, Brutal, I've lost my shades. If you, it's an inside joke, but when Brutal goes crazy like that, we need to wear the Brutal sunglasses because it's freaking blinding. But either way, shout out to Brutal Vengeance, my God. And yeah, don't worry, man, I'll get to that in just a second because I know you haven't been here throughout the stream, but me and you kind of share similar opinions here. But thank you so much, man. Thank you. very, very, very kind of you. And it's crazy. We've got like 450 people here to witness Brutal's frickin' vengeance. Right. Yeah, no, I'm excited to read that one out. All right, so Creative Burst, I'm sorry if you aren't still here when I read out your chat, but I think that's what was going on there. Silhouetted Animator up again with another super chat. Convinced some people at a comic store to give James Gunn's Superman movie a chance. Nice one. Showed today's set photos and got them invested. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I would be worried that today's set photos would potentially put some people off, but I'm glad that it didn't. I'm glad that it didn't. Well, the SS Joker, don't forget as well that Maxwell Lord, also in the comics, is also very much so linked with initiating the Justice League International. So, and you know, at least bringing Booster Gold in that comic panel that I showed earlier. So, I get what you're saying, though, but yeah, Lord is also linked with Checkmate. So I saw somebody say that earlier. So I really do wonder how. I hope they don't spread Maxwell Lord too thin, but at the same time, it'd be pretty cool to kind of make him crooked in all these ways. That's awesome, though, Silhouetted. Right, Soul Nightmare. And again, guys, if you sent in a super chat, I really appreciate you. I'm sorry it's taken me a little while to go through all of them, and I hope those of you who have sent them in, and if you're not here, maybe you're watching this on playback. Right. Ah, that's the wrong one. So I'm wondering if either Lord made Superman's suit or copied it for his team. I've noticed a lot of similar design details between his suit and theirs. I guess in universe you could argue that, but I absolutely do not think that Maxwell Lord made Superman's suit. No. No. I think the reality of the situation is the costume designer with the linings and the suits. However, yeah, if you want to use comic book logic here, as I like to call it, yeah, you could easily say, I mean, the fact that Maxwell Lord here has got a LordTech company, as we know, and is basically sponsoring certain heroes with super suits, which we know for a fact now is funded by LordTech. He must look into, hey, how can we make this look like good? Hey, I kind of like that suit over there. You know, maybe there's a bit of an inspiration. But, so yeah, you could easily argue that, especially with the businessman that Lord is. So yeah, cool idea, but I'm very confident that I would be absolutely gobsmacked if Maxwell Lord also made Superman's suit. I do not think that's the case. If that's the case, then strangeness. Okay, Cedric, thank you very much for the golden peach. Really appreciate you, man. Why is that not doing what I want it to do? Right. Lose Liam, wait, but like, why don't people like the suits? It's as simple as, hey man, you might like McDonald's, but I might like KFC. Like, it's not that deep. It's just, I mean, there are more reasons than that, but like, I don't like these suits that were revealed today as much as some other people do. I honestly thought they would be a lot better. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into it again. But you don't have to understand necessarily all the reasons why someone doesn't share your opinion in something. You know, I really like the Superman suit. I can hear why some people might not like it, but I completely disagree with them. But, you know, I can't make somebody like something or need them to prove why they dislike it and why that's valid. It's already their opinion, so it's valid, you know? I, for example, with these suits, expected a bit more, basically, rather than kind of like the leather CW Arrowverse type jacket and motorcycle pants, which isn't said as disrespect to the Arrowverse once again, but it's something that we've had rehashed time and time again. And so, you know, after having a decade of the Arrowverse with James Gunn's DCU, I expected, and I use that word loosely because I don't set my expectations high for disappointment, but what I'm trying to say here is that you know, with a whole new cinematic universe, with God knows how much money poured into it, you don't expect to see the costume parameters to be that of what we saw in the CW's Arrowverse. So that's why I'm a little bit like, yeah, I thought Hawkgirl would have a bit more oomph to that shoulder pauldron. I thought maybe she would, you know, I thought there maybe be a bit more of like a cool textured like leggings rather than motorcycle pants. Now, Guy Gardner is a bit of a different situation. He's wearing a jacket and stuff. Like, he's wearing something that Guy Gardner does wear protective-wise in the comics, but the difference being that it's a LordTech themed and colored suit, so that's why it's not... Do you know what I mean? So, what's up with black suit? What do you mean, what's up with black suit? Right. Cedric again. Sorry, man. Thank you very much for the Burt chat. But what do you mean? Like, I know what you're on about. Okay, so I thought you meant that, but what do you mean? So what's up with it? We don't know, because, like, is it going to be the character we think it is? Is it a combination of characters? If so, that could explain why they've gone for their own take on Ulysses and Ultraman and whatnot. So that's something that is hard to determine right now. But I don't know what you mean by, like, what's up with it, or whatever. Why is this suit different from the others type of thing? Well, you could say that about the engineer. Well, I mean, let me put it this way. The Black Noir suit, if you will, like, he's not a part of LordTech's Justice League International team, or whatever this is going to be, but it's pretty much Justice League International from what we can tell. So, you know, he's a different character, so quite a different suit. I think I couldn't really put it any more simpler. Same with the engineer. Like, she's obviously kind of like a solo, yet maybe hired help of Waller or Lex Luthor. Oh, no. Like, that Ultraman situation is definitely removed from LordTech, in my opinion. I think Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific are on Superman's side when they see what happens in that scene. You know, with how they're trying to apprehend Superman. All right, so from Adam Stephen Bauer, I believe. It just cut off on my screen. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat, my friend. Where is it? Why is it doing this? That is so irritating. Suits equals bad. Say what you will about the DCU, but suits look great. I don't think all of the suits look bad. But I will agree that the DCEU had pretty good looking suits consistently. You know? I will agree with that. For sure. Whereas right now with James Gunn's DCU and Superman, Up until I was really happy when I got the Superman suit. I like that. Mr. Terrific, spot on, great. But now with Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, I have to say I'm a bit like, yeah, I don't love it, but I don't have to love it, you know? That's basically it. But yeah, no way is it as sophisticated as what DCU ambitions were. And I was fine with that, by the way, for Superman and Mr. Terrific, but I have to say, I expected a bit more, you know, at the very least, a little bit more sophistication with Hawkgirl and what we saw with Guy Gardner. It does look lower budget, yeah, absolutely. I can't really put it. I'm seeing what you guys are saying with it looks cheaper. What I would say is it just, yeah, I don't like saying low budget because I'm sure they've got a big budget, but I don't know what it is. It just looks, again, something we've seen in the past 10 years in the Arrowverse and now in the DCU. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because a lot of people like some Arrowverse suits, but I don't know. I don't think it breaks the wheel. And it's maintaining consistent with the wheel of the Arrowverse, which isn't a high bar. I think that's how I would put it with the Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner look. Not Mr. Terrific and Superman, but the Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner look. I think that's a way for me to sum it up. It's remaining consistent with something which was kind of like, yeah, it's all right. You know, the Arrowverse at times. Yeah, all right. Okay, the suit's got a bit better over time, but you know, all right. But the bar wasn't like fucking movie level high. Yeah, and like the Peacemaker suits, I would say okay, so that's a good way to compare it. I think even Judo Master's suit, it has some pizzazz to it material-wise, which I just kind of thought would maybe be put onto Hawkgirl. But again, it's just a biker jacket and leggings, and I think that's the thing that alienates me. I just wanted a little bit of different material. Again, I'm not applying this to Guy Gardner because Guy Gardner, all while the design is different, but we've already been over that with the LordTech sponsored suits. He's a part of a team suit situation. I still thought Hawkgirl would have a bit more oomph to it. But yeah, the Peacemaker suits I feel like have a... All while his Peacemaker suit is quite DCEU in style, there is still like a sense of individuality there, where with Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, I don't feel like that. Yeah, I'm sure they will get upgrades in the DCU, but in the same movie, I don't necessarily think so. But we went over that earlier. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Adam. I wouldn't call them bad. I just don't like them as much as I wanted to. Unfortunately. Right, sorry guys. I'm taking frickin' ages to get through these chats, so bear with me. By the way, would you guys like me to re-upload this live stream as a video of me talking about the suit? Obviously, there won't really be photos in it, per se, but I can kind of do like a little clippings of it. Or I can just leave the stream up as it is, but then there'll be a bit of rambling back and forth rather than me condensing it down. Because I know what's going to happen. Despite me talking about it for 2 hours tonight, you're going to get people being like, why haven't you uploaded a video? I didn't know you went live. And that's fair enough. So I feel like because I haven't made a Hawkgirl video and Guy Gardner video, as in an actual post on the channel, and because I'm covering The Boys tomorrow, I'm not going to be making a DCU video until Friday, despite what we get. So, I mean, unless there's like Lex Luthor in the freaking war suit or something tomorrow, like I won't be making a DCU video until Friday. You do need to do more clips, Boba. That's the channel grower. Yeah, I know. Like, I haven't done a single post on my channel with regards to what they call them. Oh man, what the hell are they called? Shorts. That's it. Whoa, brutal. You know what? I'm gonna react to that in a second. I saw something pop up. Right, bear with me. Right, wait. I swear I just... Frank, I'm sorry, man. I don't know where this keeps going. Aha, I found you. I found you. Saeed, you missed the stream. How could you? Frank Mondor. Trunks or no trunks for Batman? Ideally for me, no trunks. I don't mind innovation in design where it kind of gets a bit darker in that area on the same plane of material, if you will. But I wouldn't say that I would want Batman Arkham trunks. But believe it or not, I go over this quite a bit in the video that I have coming out soon. And I'm sure you guys know what that video is. I posted on my community tab, and it's like a 40+ minute video where we get into the thick of it. And this was actually one of the questions I investigated quite a bit because I wanted to play devil's advocate. And I was kind of like having a bit of a war with myself. So I tried to find like a happy ground. But yeah, without to like spoil that too much, I think, you know, my knee-jerk reaction is the same with Superman. I'm more of a no-trunk guy, okay? However, I recognize the iconic aspects of Superman having trunks. Now, I think, though, Superman trunks are more iconic... Sorry, I think trunks are more iconic to Superman than they are Batman. Even though, ironically, Batman debuted with trunks. But you get what I'm saying. Like, optics-wise, it's more of a Superman, red trunks, vibrant colors situation, so... Okay. Action Pack says, that's fair, but people have said similar things about past suit reveals and set leaks. I do want to say that as well. Like, this is why my first reaction to the suit on Twitter, or the suits, was I need another angle. Like, and I do think the sheen of the screen, I know people will call this a cope. These could look cooler than what I think, despite some of my core issues of I wish the material they used was maybe a bit different, you know, versus that of leather. But having that, you know, being said, I do still kind of think, hey, do I think these are like absolute dog shite? No. Like, I don't think they are, but I do not like it as much as I wanted to. However, of course, it could look cooler with the sheen of the screen. The sheen of the silver screen is still a thing. But obviously, I wanted to feel how I felt about the Mr. Terrific and Superman suit. And unfortunately, the Hawkgirl thing, outside of how cool her mace is and her helmet, and I do like the gold trimmings here and there, like, don't get me wrong. I think mainly the issue for me is the status quo is being almost maintained with, like, you know, what they've done with the Arrowverse. And I rather have a style that is truly their own. Even if, like, there's plenty of Arrowverse suits that I really like. I didn't actually expect a rehash of that for the Justice League International team members. Sorry. Right. Guys, tell me off. I need to stay focused on the Super Chats. I keep getting into tangents. Trunks or no trunks for Batman? We've done that one. Thank you, Frank. Ronnie Dodge. Love the kids running up to Superman. Emotional. I know, man. Like, I did see a lot of people react to that. If you're just joining the stream, we showed a video a couple of seconds ago of a lot of kids in the crowd just kind of running into Superman's arms, and he, like, you know, scoops them up and holds them in his arms, and, you know, they're all just really happy, and it's such a Superman scene, and it is truly like a loving kind of cool Superman moment. And he, like, interacts with them, he high-fives them. Could you imagine if he actually if he accidentally did it a bit too hard? They'd be like, ah, Dad. My God. I wouldn't recommend high-fiving Superman, just in case, you know. Who would have thought the bowl cut would have been the best part? Right, sorry. God, not on track again, but I agree, Ronnie. Brutal, finally, I am at your very, 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 very generous super chat. Thank you so much, man. Huge shout out to Brutal, guys. He is incredibly supportive of my channel, and I've been waiting to read this one out. So, Brutal says, yeah, those suits are bad. By the way, I know these are LordTech, but still doesn't change the fact that they could have done a better job. I loved to defend Gunn, but I can't, unfortunately. This is kind of how I felt, like, with the latter of what you said there. I don't know if I would say, like, outright bad, but the way I would articulate it is, like, no matter what, I do not like it nearly as much as I wanted to. And I mean that a lot. Like, I really don't like them as much as I really wanted to. And I can't really say the same things. Like, it's fascinating to me because when I've spoken about the Superman suit in previous videos, some people were claiming or thought I must just be lying or I must just be shilling the suit or the movie or DC or whatever it is because I happen to like it. like a lot, when it comes to specifically Superman. But like with this, no, that's not the case. I just like it. And now with what we got shown today, I don't think they're that great looking. I really don't. It's hard because I don't like to. I try and be careful with my words because I don't want people to be like, oh, well, Boba, you said you didn't like it. And it's like, well, no, I technically didn't say it. It's kind of a thing where it's like, okay, I see what you're doing there. I think they look cool in a way. But at the same time, is this what I wanted out of the suits? Is this kind of what I would have liked to have seen? Would I have expected to love this so much more? Yes, I would have really wanted to love it so much more. So I guess you could say just cut the shit and say you don't like it. And I guess I will say that in terms of what I would have wanted it. I don't know what I would have wanted it to be. This is why I'm trying to say I didn't have like crazy expectations, but I just didn't expect this. Which is why I'm not a huge fan of these new suit looks. Again though, with what Brutal says there, that's fine, that's his opinion. I don't think I would say it's like bad, like outright bad, because I bring up the Hawkgirl suit again here, and I'm like, okay, I appreciate what the design of what they've gone for with the gold trim. I do like the helmet, I do like the mace, I do like the style of gloves that she has. It's kind of almost like bandagey. But practically everything else from that like motorcycle approach, I think like no. There's no other way for me to put it. I just think that is just it really annoys me. I see what people mean when they say baggy suit now, because I don't think that, okay, I'm not blind. I can see what people's opinions are when they say that about Corin Sweat, but I really don't think it's as egregious or as crazy everyone makes it out to be. But now you see Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl. There is no excuse. Like when you're wearing motorcycle like jumpsuits or whatever you want to call it, that is just what it is, man. It just is what it is. And I do think, I will say it again, I think Guy Gardner is more pleasing in terms of design. It's unfortunate and a bit of a weird situation for me to be in because I want them to have their own individuality rather than that of a LordTech suit. So I want him to have the Guy Gardner look. But he doesn't. Yeah, it still looks better than Hawkgirl's suit in terms of just... But even then, it's not saying much. I don't know. I know it sounds like I'm beating around the bush, but it's kind of a thing where it's like, as a DC fan, I can appreciate it in the same way that, sure, if you give me a chocolate bar, and it's not really a chocolate that I would really ever buy. Like, this is the greatest analogy I can think of, right? In a Boba analogy way. If you give me a chocolate bar that I would never really care to buy for myself, and I eat it, I'd be like, you know what? I like chocolate. I like milk chocolate. So I will eat it. And you know what? I can kind of, as a chocolate fan, appreciate it, but would I buy it for myself? No, I'm going to go out there and buy this one. This one and this one and this one looks way better and tastes way better. So going back to this analogy, that is how I feel about the suits. Would I have chosen this? Would I have liked this? No. But can I appreciate it as a fan in a way? Sure, but that doesn't really say much, unfortunately. And that's the best way I think I can truly explain how I'm feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like, as a fan of Guy Gardner, as a fan of Mr. Terrific, as a fan of what they're going for here, Hawkgirl, and kind of speculating, okay, well, they're bringing in Maxwell Lord. I can kind of see what they're doing with maybe a Justice League International. Okay, so even though I may not like perhaps what they're doing here with having the team, the Justice League International, having, actual matching suits as a part of LordTech, I'm not really a big fan of that idea, but at least I can kind of see what they're going for there. Doesn't mean I have to like it, though. Like, I can respect it, but it doesn't really mean I like it a bunch. So these are Lord suits, not permanent looks. So yes, I agree with you, Jaquan. They are LordTech sponsored suits, superhero suits, if you will. Yes, you can also say they're not permanent suits in the DCU. However, I think they are the suits that they're wearing for the entire movie. Especially as I think the Justice League International LordTech thing is going to echo throughout the first couple of years, at least, into the DCU. Perhaps they're even going to recruit Booster Gold when we get that Booster Gold series. So do you see what I mean? I don't think you should say in kind of such a way like, These are not technically their permanent suits, so as a result, we're going to get another looking suit for Hawkgirl by the end of this movie. There's absolutely no way we know that. Like, I can't tell you one way or the other. So I just am saying I tend to believe that the LordTech sponsored superhero suits that we're seeing today is what will be throughout the whole movie. The argument is going in circles. I know what you mean, Ian, but I think that's just the nature of it. When people come into the channel, the live stream, they jump in, jump out. It's just, you know, people will be like, hey, ask the same question. And I think I'm okay repeating myself quite a bit because it helps me kind of unravel my own feelings about it. It's like repeating a therapy session again and again and again. And then you're like, okay, the penny's finally dropped now. Boba, I don't agree with you, from Paulie Boy. That is fine, Paulie. Let me know maybe why, and we can talk about it. Right, but Brutal Man, thank you very much for that super chat. And I know you sent in something else, which I may be getting to. But before I do, Michael, Ratty says, with the $5, I'm so sorry it took this long to get to your super chat, my friend, but just jumped in, so I don't know if it's been mentioned. But does anyone think that the negative space in the LordTech logo says JL? I don't think so. I get why people are saying that, but I keep trying to visualize it for myself, and I can't really see it. I mean, you could, yeah, I guess, like, it's like the so like a J, and then it's that in reverse. So... and then in the middle is the I, so you could say it's like a Justice League International maybe, but no matter what, like, ultimately, it's the LordTech logo. And you could say that in our own interpretations, you know, that perhaps it means one thing or another, but all I can say for now is it's the LordTech logo. It's literally, it's Maxwell Lord's LordTech company. And I'm pretty damn sure Eddie Gathegi is going to be like the genius working in the R&D department. But yeah, it's undoubtedly the case that he's supplying the superhero suits, and yeah. But I don't know if I'd quite say that it's a Justice League logo, and I would be actually quite confident in saying that because you know, this won't be the Justice League; it'll be like international. So. Check Discord, Boba. Oh, okay. We got another clip. I'll watch that after this stream because it's 30 seconds long. But I'm looking forward to seeing that one on Twitter, whatever it is. Is it like, actually, it's probably the little quote I gave. Oh, no, it's the comparison. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should share that one around because I think it's the, like, if I do say so myself, like, the most reasonable way I can explain my feelings of the suit in a respectable way that doesn't sound like I'm just shitting on it. Do you know what I mean? I try and not shit on things. I really try. Again, the chocolate analogy is good, in my opinion, for that, because it's kind of like, you know what? Hey, I take it. It's still chocolate. I can appreciate that, but I'm still not going to buy this one. And that should say it all. Like, I'm not a big fan of it. So there you go. That is a nice way of, I guess, saying not a huge fan of what we're seeing today. But yeah, Michael, I get what you're saying there, but we've already been through that one. I think people are eating up these set picks too much as it's first time seeing a movie in production. Yeah, I do. I mean, I do agree to an extent there, Simon. No matter what, it will be more aesthetically pleasing on the screen. Yeah, I do have to play devil's advocate here and say that you can tell what materials are, you can tell what design is, so one can make a judgment to an extent. Like, that's just a fact. It also can't be argued to those who want to argue that okay, but it could look better, the fidelity could be much more impressive on screen. But will that change somebody's mind, despite having better fidelity, about the fundamental design or choice of material of the suit? Maybe not. So this is why I think people should always reserve a certain percentage of their mind being made up until you see the movie. But I do not blame people for kind of seeing it and being like, or like, you know, if you saw the Superman suit and you didn't want the reverse Kingdom Come logo on it, and you want it, you know, that's fair enough. Like, you can make that judgment. You'd be like, nah, I want a traditional S. I don't want trunks on it. I'm so dead serious about that I feel this way about it. Like, I can't argue with that person. Like, that's, you know, it's easy for them to say. And I can respect that. It doesn't mean they're judging too soon, in my mind. They might come to love it more, though. That's something I believe in as well. Paulie says, I really think we need to see the suits in the context of the movie to see why they made the choices they made. Superman in jeans look stupid in comic solicitations for Grant Morrison's. I get what you're saying. So, yeah, kind of repeating what I'm saying, Paulie. I do think you can, you know, have thoughts and feelings and ideas about it that may make you feel a certain way, but you shouldn't resign yourself to that. But I do think you can get a bit of a... I mean, and also, Paulie, I do think we kind of already know the reason. Like, Maxwell Lord is blatantly with LordTech sponsored or, like, recruited these superheroes into the Justice League International or a proto-Justice League International, whatever you want to call it. We kind of get what they're doing if they're all wearing LordTech suits. But, yeah. I do agree, though. Like, without going around in circles, I get what you're saying. But appreciate you saying that, man. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Jackson, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you, man. As always. I was crying to Jackson earlier in DMs. I was like, I want to use the photos, but I can't use the photos. Help me. But Jackson says, thank you for everything you do and being a respectful and reliable source for comic news and genuine fun. Thank you very much for saying that, dude. I really do appreciate that, and it actually kind of burns in a way when I feel like I can't make a video, at least at the moment, with the decisions I'm making, showing the photos, and I worry that people are going to be like, so maybe Boba's not as on it as he normally... I mean, I am. That's why I'm here streaming right now. But yeah, thanks for saying that. I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you for, you know, the views on the videos. You know, even yesterday's video is doing really well. And I try my best. That's why the chocolate analogy is the most respectful I can make it. So far, nothing too crazy on... Just double checking Twitter because you never know what might pop up. Will you cover Deadpool and Wolverine? I'll probably do a review for that. I don't know if too many people will care because I keep flip-flopping Marvel coverage. With not covering it as often as I should. But I probably will do a review. Sorry, why isn't my Streamlabs working? Right, okay, so Brutal came back. Oh my god. With another whopping 50. I haven't even checked what like we're on right now for this stream, but that I think 'cause I've been so distracted. Like I obviously don't do so well in chaos of live streams. I think I try and please or like handle every situation, but then kind of, as I'm doing right now, getting very verbose is probably the word to use. To the point of where I haven't realized like what's been going on with the super chat support. So thank you so much, Brutal, for yet another $50 super chat. Jesus. No, yeah, Brutal, yeah, as you just said, I'm not so used to it. We get it every now and again, and I'm kind of surprised that my stream hasn't crashed at this point, so, you know. So Brutal says, to expand on what he said earlier, Kendra needs more armor on her suit than just her helmet. Like, the armor helmet looks so out of place with this LordTech outfit. Maxwell could have easily made her more suit without any motorcycle fetish jacket. So yeah, you know, let me have a look at it again. I wish we had a bit more of a closer up to see, because I think from a distance that material on the helmet doesn't come across as metallic to me. It kind of comes across, you know, like that helmet there. It's obviously made out of plastic kind of thing, right? So if you saw that kind of how it is now, you might be like, okay, maybe that's not like... I'm just trying to articulate it in such a way where maybe it's just the way these photos are taken, but I'm trying to get into what Brutal said with how it might not match the leather. Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't.
Streets are crowded for the holiday.
You're testing my threshold of like trying to be respectful here, Brutal.
The city streets are crowded for the holiday.
You know, like those. Oh man, how do I say this without sounding too harsh? Nah, I can't.
Streets are crowded for the
because it's just got to sound bad, but it reminds me of something. I know what you mean. The suit leather kind of maybe doesn't translate. Yes, you've nailed it on the head, because if she maybe had shoulder pauldrons which were almost golden, shinier, that matched her helmet, then it would maybe blend in a bit more. But she just kind of has one of those kind of, you know, like in the store where you get like a superhero costume, and like from like the shirt or the jacket or whatever superhero you're buying, it's kind of like a fabric, right? But then on like the kind of hanger cardboard is the mask, right? That's kind of the energy that it's giving me with how it doesn't translate into the rest of the material. I don't know if that makes sense, that comparison, but that's kind of...
The city streets are crowded for the holiday.
Wait, I've just realized, why has Batman been going off for a hot minute now? Oh, wow, wait, what? We've had gift memberships.
The streets are crowded for the holiday.
Holy. Thank you very much, guys. Sorry, I need to catch up, and I will in just a second. I don't even know who sent those in.
The city streets are crowded.
That is crazy. Thank you so much to whoever sent those in. I'll get to you in just a second. I'll be able to tell who it is, but I'm currently scrolled up the chat, trying to see who sent in a super chat next. But we've got apparently 16 new members. This is a crazy generous stream.
The streets are crowded for the holiday.
Oh great! Now I can't find any of the other. Okay, let me. Why does YouTube have to be difficult like this? Right. So I'm trying to find your previous super chats because they've disappeared and it's really annoying. Why do they keep disappearing? Action packed. Whoa, thank you so... Holy crap, dude. That is very, 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 very kind of you. Sorry, I keep almost choking on this stream. Holy crap. This is like the best way I can bring it up for now because it freaking disappeared. Action packed. Shout out to you. That is insanely, insanely kind. I don't even know what to say. Like, you know, on top of everyone else's super chats this stream, Brutal, Michael, Jackson, Ronnie, like everyone, and now there's more freaking gift memberships. That's nuts. So action packed. I don't know if I've seen you send in like a huge super chat like that anytime recently, so that means a lot. I know I keep saying it, but I just want to make sure you know that I'm really grateful for that. So, with that being said, we got to remember that these are unfinished shots of side characters in their first suits that were probably funded by Maxwell Lord and designed by Mr. Terrific. They'll all have new suits in their next appearances so DC can sell new toys. I 1000% agree with that. I think that's why I was trying to broach that subject with regards to saying this is a cinematic universe. You know, Gunn wouldn't just bring in these characters per se as like a one-off character. So, especially as, you know, we're likely going to branch more out into Justice League International as we get into Booster Gold. I do agree with what Action Pact is saying there, because they will probably develop that more and more and more and more and more as time goes on. And yeah, like, realistically, it is quite a bit for merch reasons. You get those subtle upgrades occasionally. But yeah, I just hope that maybe the heroes are eventually like to Maxwell Lord, like, screw you, man. Like, why can't we just wear our own suits, like our own version of our suits? You know, like, again, if I go into this right here, let me see if I've got another good photo of the Justice League International. I do somewhere. I've got quite a few to choose from. But like, I think everyone look at Guy Gardner there. Oh man. But like, it's like, if you imagine this situation with Booster Gold there, so you can see Booster Gold in the corner. He would have yellow, like with what we saw today, he would have yellow trims on his suit and white down the middle. He would have the LordTech logo here. And I think I guess the way to put it is, like, with regards to what Action Pact said, these heroes will go back to their old suits maybe, or maybe it's just a bit weird to wrap your head around, because I'm sure quite a few of these heroes have been heroes for a while. Like, I mean, maybe we're wrong in assuming that, but just because Nathan Fillion's a bit older doesn't mean that his guy Gardner has been a hero for a very long time, so maybe he hasn't had the ring that long, so this is Guy Gardner's first iteration of his suit, funded by LordTech, aka Maxwell Lord. Hawkgirl, well, I mean, since Kendra is so young, granted, you know, you can get into how they're going to adapt Hawkgirl, but the fact remains, she is young, so maybe she hasn't been too active as a superhero as well. Now, Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific is giving me off vibes of not being active for too long, because he seems a bit newbie with his jetpack. So I think he's still a bit experimenting, so to speak, with his superhero activities. So, long story short, maybe they've made a little bit of a name for themselves, but this association with Maxwell Lord and the Justice League International, they kind of take it like, sure, why not? Like, hey, you're gonna provide me a suit, and all I need to do is do what I'm doing anyway, maybe, just with these other heroes? Sure. And that could be like their first real kick and wave of what they're trying to do. Warping Fist says, people need to trust in the process and consider the narrative and thematic purpose behind how the characters look in this universe at least. I do agree with that, but at the same time, to play devil's advocate, I think we're all very aware that this is heading towards that Justice League International. Like, if you want to talk narrative and thematic purpose, or like the reason why they look like this, sure, we can kind of put together that there is, you know, the Justice League International Maxwell Lord sponsored suits. Like, we don't need to say that for the billionth time, like I've kept saying. Okay, cool. Like, I get it. People need to consider that, but ultimately, they don't need to like the look of it. They just don't. They don't, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, as much as I like the Superman suit, you know, if people don't like it and they need to consider... I don't know how else to put it, but... They don't have to. I don't think they actually do have to consider that so much. The more I'm thinking about it, again, the Justice League International and the comics don't have a team suit per se. They have their own individual, unique suits as per their own characters. So, sure, they can take into account that's what they're doing with this iteration, and you can respect that, but you can still be like, you know what? Yeah, even though I'm considering that, I don't really like the design. And I think maybe that's where a lot of people are concluding how they're feeling with this. I don't know if you'd agree with that, Warping Fist. I totally get what you're saying, though, but at the end of the day, if people don't like it, like, narrative aside, it doesn't really matter if they're supplied by LordTech and they're a team. People don't, you know, if there's a Fantastic Four movie and people don't like the Fantastic Four suits, and we have the context of how they're a team and they're wearing similar themed suits, if we don't like the suits, people might just don't like the suits. Yeah, Morgie says maybe in the story they are forced to wear them. I don't know about that. Maybe you could argue that. Maybe you could argue they don't like the look of the suits too much, but I think that's a reach. I will say, with the way that they've designed Hawkgirl there, I would be surprised if they like deliberately made a suit that wasn't like too appealing, because I can see and respect what they went for in that design. So I don't think there's the whole thing of like they're, you know, I've seen this again on Twitter. People are saying, oh, now people are saying they're deliberately ugly. I do get what you're saying there, but I don't think that's what they're going for. Sure, their like future suits could like and probably will look better when they branch off on their own, even though I guess they don't need to, because they can always be a part of the Justice League or Justice League International. But yeah, I think even if like we don't have all the context, I think these are the suits of the Justice League International, and that's just is what it is. I don't know. Green Batman 23, what are you on about? If Morgie just doesn't like what she's seeing, you don't need to come out with something like that. I don't know what Morgie said, but I assume it's something to do with not liking the suits or whatever. Right. Action-packed. I hope you're still here, by the way. I hope you saw what I said. And I deeply appreciate how generous you were with that super chat. Thank you so much. So, who do we have next? Why won't my Streamlabs let me scroll up and see, like, the little bubble chats? That's really irritating. Okay, I found one of them. Okay, so Kamyar Jahan sent in a $5 super chat after that saying, I feel like there's a purpose for the bad suits. I can't imagine James Gunn not understanding how bad they look. He has a plan. Okay, so this is where I think people are really... And I'm not taking the piss out of this at all, by the way. I think people like Kamyar here are absolutely considering this. And it's a kind of a weird thing, because it's like, I can't shut that down. And it's a fascinating thing to observe, because it's like, some people are genuinely thinking that they look so bad that Gunn surely is aware of that. And, that, you know, if you think about it a bit more, you explore some theories, LordTech maybe cheaped out and, like, built the suits as they are specifically for like an intent of looking bad, but I don't think that's the case. And do you know why? Because Mr. Terrific is, you know, his suit is very comic accurate, and so obviously a lot of us are okay with the leather jacket look and the leather boots and pants that he has, because it's very comic accurate. So if we don't apply that to Mr. Terrific, and we see that they've put in, you know, some effort there of making Hawkgirl look like Hawkgirl, but just kind of, hey, just like Mr. Terrific, she's wearing the LordTech logo and suit version of Hawkgirl's, you know, appearance. And so ultimately, you know, long story long here, I'm just trying to say that I don't think that these are made to look intentionally bad. I think this is what they're going for, at least with the LordTech version of their suits. And again, my biggest explanation for that is think about Mr. Terrific's. I truly think that Guy Gardner's and Hawkgirl's are just their iterations of their own version. You know, because I wouldn't want Mr. Terrific's suit to change anytime soon. Let me put it that way, right? Because his suit is very comic accurate and great. It really is. So if I don't think Mr. Terrific's suit's going to change anytime soon because it's very comic accurate and it's a LordTech suit, why would Hawkgirl's and Guy Gardner's, if they're, you know, happy to be in Maxwell Lord's Justice League International? Now, I can't guarantee what may happen. They may quit. They may get a different suit. I don't know. But think about Mr. Terrific and how that's a LordTech suit. And why would Hawkgirl's, or the intention with Hawkgirl's and Guy Gardner's, be deliberately done bad or cheaped out in universe canonically by Maxwell Lord. I don't think that's going to be the case, believe it or not, and I think these truly are, you know. Yeah, Crimson, that's what we've been talking about. Everyone else has a similar look to Mr. Terrific. If you pay attention, they all have the same vibe and brand. Yeah, this is exactly what I've been talking about. They have the LordTech logo on the chest. We've been talking about that for the past 2 hours, Crimson Shifter. These are all bankrolled by LordTech. I know some of you have been here for like the past 2 hours and you're probably sick of me saying that. But just in case anyone is joining the stream, I am very aware that Hawkgirls, Mr. Terrifics, and Guy Gardner's suits are all produced by Maxwell Lord's LordTech company. If they all have it, then isn't that intentional? Well, you're adding something subjective into some speculation there. So let's just say, Sean, you think it looks bad. So you're saying, like, do you think James Gunn and some other people think it looks bad? What I'm trying to explain here, yes, it's intentional to have them have team suits, right? But that doesn't mean just because you think it's bad that they think it's bad and so they've done it as intentionally bad. No, it just means that you think it's bad and they still intentionally made these suits the way they have, like created by Maxwell Lord, and they might think they look really good. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how else to explain that. I hope I'm getting my point across. But all I was trying to say is, with what I was saying with Mr. Terrific, is I don't think the suits will change so much throughout the movie, because if Mr. Terrific is like very comic accurate, and I think a lot more of us are used to, as opposed to Hawkgirls and Guy Gardner's, like his is we're okay with that because he's meant to have a leather jacket. Do you know what I mean? So is Guy Gardner, but obviously he looks quite different. So all I'm trying to say is that if I don't think, in my opinion here, that Mr. Terrific's suit will change, I don't think Guy Gardner's in the movie will, or Hawkgirl's will. I think they're going to continue to wear the LordTech logos suits. There's no other way for me to put it. If I'm wrong, by the way, I'm wrong. Well, Bobby, you're doing the same thing, saying Gunn may think it looks good. Laugh my ass off, it's all hearsay. I guess I get what you're saying with that, but I think what I'm trying to get into is a bit more logical in terms of, like, I'm pretty sure most people, the majority of people, think that the LordTech Mr. Terrific suit looks pretty good and is comic accurate. So I don't think, and sure, it's conjecture here, I can't guarantee this for a fact, but I'm pretty confident, shall I say, that what he's done with Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl here is he's not just going to be like, hey, here's one LordTech suit of Mr. Terrific, let's make that look really cool, and here's a LordTech suit of Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, let's make them look trash. No, I believe that Gunn made them all very similar to a level that he's happy with. But obviously, we're all different people, and not everyone's going to reflect that. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. I'm kind of underwhelmed with the suits, though, just in case you're joining now. Oh, okay. Preach says, I've explained comments like 6 times why Mr. Terrific won't change and theirs will. The reason why I didn't see that before is because there's 342 other people here, so, you know. Mr. Terrific designed them all, so he will stick with his, and they will make their... I think that's a cool theory. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you that they could eventually make their own or have their own suits. I've never said otherwise. In fact, earlier I was going on with how this is saying this is a cinematic universe. I'm sure they will absolutely get even better looks. But within this movie, maybe not. And I actually really like Preach Defiance idea there with how I've also said, I'm sure Mr. Terrific is basically Maxwell Lord's top kind of guy at LordTech for the technology. So I agree that he's probably the one who's helped make these suits, and, you know, they can maybe go off and get their other looks, but he might stay firmly in place with his. That's a good idea, but we're going to have to wait and see. Mag, people keep coming in. I think the suits are probably Maxwell Lord suits because they're sponsored by Lord. Yes, they are. We know. They are. The suits are Maxwell Lord suits. We know. Nah, but the thing is action-packed. I don't think they're the Terrifics, I'm telling you. Oh, but I guess you're saying it in such a way where, well, technically, you could argue, like, you know, if Mr. Terrific created them, these are their terrific suits. So if you mean it like that, then I totally get what you're saying. But by all means, I don't think Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl are in the Terrifics, if anyone's thinking that. This is JLI, 100%. Okay, so this is where we get to Jack Stutz gifting 10 gifted memberships. Wait, what? Okay, so this is where I was rambling earlier, and I think I was on such a rant that I was so distracted that it almost drowned out the whole, you know, city streets are crowded for the holiday little alert box that plays. Thank you so much, Jack. I mean, I hope you're still here because this was like almost, yeah, like 20 minutes ago. But thank you so much, Jack. And I don't know who got the gifted memberships, but we've now apparently got 16 new members. Because not only did Jack send in 10 gifted memberships on the stream, but we've also got Collier sending in an additional 5. Thank you so much, Collier. And, you know, that's really helpful because we've had a lot of members in the past couple of weeks drop off because of previous gift memberships expiring. So really do appreciate that, man. And I'm sure the people who got the memberships appreciate that. So Farrah said me. So big shout out to Collier and Jack Stutz there for sending in 15 gift memberships. Thank you so much. See you later, Yusuf. That's 15 long. That's what I said, didn't I? Did I say something else? I genuinely don't know, because sometimes my short-term memory deletes itself very quickly. Whatever the case, these are not their permanent suits. They wouldn't work with Maxwell Lord for too long. I think that's open to interpretation. Well, it says 16, Jay, because somebody else signed up for membership individually. No, so I think that's kind of actually open, believe it or not, whoever just said that, because I think Sean Gunn's Maxwell Lord role won't be over within Superman. I think it will stretch out for, like, you know, at least a couple of years or so, you know, as we get into Booster Gold. So I think the Justice League International arc is going to unfold for a while, which is why I think people shouldn't necessarily assume new suits as of, like, the second DCU project, you know what I mean? And Booster Gold, like, when he comes, like, do you see where I'm going with this? I'm not saying the Justice League International suits are going to maintain the look that you're seeing today for the next 4 years. No. But I do have a good feeling that, like, whatever LordTech is doing and supplying these suits to Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, and Guy Gardner, I think that vibe and that group will grow on for a little bit longer, just, like, I don't know, getting into Booster Gold, maybe. And yeah, no, I think I do agree. I've seen people say that as well. I think it'd be pretty cool if Superman's like, I don't want to join the Justice League International, or at least, you know, I'm keeping my suit. I'm not, like, rolling with what you're doing. And I've also said how Superman Legacy, the title, could even inspire those heroes, who knows, to get their own iteration of their suits. Which is why, you know, again, I always say I can't say it for a fact. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe whatever some of you guys are saying, and how, what if they do get their own suit inspired by Superman's legacy by the end of the movie, albeit they are still wanting to be a part of a Justice League International group, you know? But I don't know, I've just got a gut feeling that Justice League International is going to kind of continue to be whatever it's going to be, maybe with some changes into the Booster Gold show. I think Hawkgirl's wings will absolutely be CGI. Yeah. Action Packed back at it again with a $10 super chat on top of the mahoosive 50. Oh, I've also just seen you say they're 100% quitting by the end of the movie. They weren't cheaper out either. They're just designed by Mr. Terrific. They're the proto-terrifics. It's a good way of thinking it about it, because I've also wondered often that I don't think the Terrifics are set up as of the beginning of the movie, and Metamorpho will join by the, you know, Metamorpho. I even think that Metamorpho could be inexperienced with his powers, and Mr. Terrific could help him with them. And this leads into the Terrifics, basically. Right, so speaking of action-packed, so the $10 super chat, or they say, the suits were probably... Why is it doing that? The suits were probably designed by Mr. Terrific because they have a similar style and fabrics. They aren't the DC Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner suits. They're the uniform of whatever Team Lord is funding. I agree with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't let it be mistaken that this is... I don't know how else to put it, like Guy Gardner's actual definitive look, you know. It's very evident that, you know, as I said earlier, it's got a theme, it's got a color scheme, it's got all of that. So the thing is, I find it a weird choice. Like, maybe their own suits haven't been created yet, but you wouldn't... If you're your own hero, like Guy Gardner or Hawkgirl, like, you would just wear your own suits as they do in the comics with that of the Justice League International. I don't think you have to keep slipping into uniform whenever you're doing a collaboration project, per se. Maybe you could argue you will. Maybe it's just something that is subject to change as they unfold and they make some changes within that of the group. I think that BobaTalks is saying he understands the concept of why the suits went in that direction, but just doesn't like the execution, which is fair. Yeah, basically. Not a big fan of the execution, just wanted to love it a lot more. The Green Lantern suit can come from the ring, indeed, but not all the time. It can indeed be a construct from their ring. That is like the most popular situation there that happens with them. We don't know the execution though until the movie comes out. I mean, again, like, I beg to differ because it's like you can see the leather and approach that they went with. Do you know what I mean? I keep going around in circles at this point, but you can... I don't blame people for making certain judgments. I think if you judge it 67% of the way, but you reserve 30% of your mind, I think that's fine. But you can't deny people a look at a suit saying, okay, they're using a motorcycle jacket approach and a motorcycle pants look, and tell them that they're blind, because they're not. Like, they can see it, they might not like it. So you can see the execution, and they've went with the CW Arrowverse leather jacket and pants look. And that's not me throwing a dig at the Arrowverse. I'm just saying they've maintained that with the LordTech suits. And people don't have to like that, you know? But I do agree that it probably will look a little bit better on screen with the sheen of the silver screen. I don't know. Jackson Durr says, with a $2 super chat, new art work in progress in email. Why, thank you very, very, very much. No, they went with the Mr. Terrific look. I guess you could... Yeah, but I get... I know what you're saying, action-packed, but we can't deny that this doesn't look like... What I meant by Arrowverse is, like, we've seen plenty of Arrowverse leather pants and leather jackets, so... Yeah, I guess you could say that is also... They went with the Mr. Terrific look, because that is very true. It's like if Iron Man made suits for the Avengers. True. They would all be nanotechy, kind of Iron Man-y stuff. That is a better way to put it. But you could also say... I mean, it can't be denied that, hey, said Arrowverse suit over here. But yeah, I mean, yours is probably, I do concede in saying that Mr. Terrific's suit is the way it is. Like, there's a bit of Under Armour, there's a leather jacket, leather pants. And so if he made the other suits, if we're to believe that, it would be the Mr. Terrific way. Yeah, I do agree. But Jackson, thank you very, very, very much. I'm going to have to check out that email. Did I take a screenshot of that? Where are we? There we are. Boom. Hold on, Jax. Let me... Can I cast Ella Pennell as Barbara? Yeah, I think I would love that. I love Ella Pennell, and I think she would be incredible as Barbara in the DCU. Absolutely. Oh, that is amazing, Jackson. I remember. That's awesome. It's funny. I remember that exact kid. Well, I don't know if I could say too much, but I remember. Obviously, this is from today, so that's really, really cool. I recognize like even the background actor from that scene, so that's awesome. More. No Metamorpho news yet, though. Yeah, no, Anthony Carrigan. Like, this is, with the lack of Metamorpho stuff going on, I am wondering if my early theories of, with Stag Industries and stuff, could Metamorpho be a bit more of a origin story in this film, in where he goes to Michael Holt's Mr. Terrific to get help more and more along the way. I mean, I could be completely wrong, by the way, because he could be an experienced superhero who's already come to accept his powers. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some, situation that goes on and where, I don't know, I've got a feeling he might already be experienced within a certain extent of his powers, but it would be pretty interesting if one of the heroes in this film was a bit of an origin, but I don't know how you guys would feel about that. This would be CG like Groot. Nah, I think I've heard, I can't remember, I need to look through certain DMs, but I do know some extras who were filming scenes with Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho, and I think it is a mix of practical and CG, so I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think they said something like that. And you know what, by the way, funnily enough, I did hear back then that the people who told me this, they weren't too impressed with the suits, or they didn't like them as much as they wanted to. And I just thought, oh man, okay, fair enough, but, I'm sure I'll love it. But now I've seen them, I'm like, oh, yeah. By the way, I see some of you asking if I'm making a separate video on this. I think my video will be on Friday. So this will be a live stream that I possibly leave up on the channel. We're going to have to wait and see. Because we've been going for a couple of hours now, so I might unlist it and do some clips. We'll have, I might clip some of this in Friday's video because there were some funny moments. But with some other news that I want to gather up on Friday, I want to sit with my thoughts even more, go over the discussion that we've had in this live stream, and just give a full conclusion on Friday, ultimately. Paulie Boy says, I don't think the suits are all that bad. I just think there's never been a movie as scrutinized as this one. I mean, I disagree with the last part of that because I feel like there's a lot of, especially superhero movies these days that get glued, people's eyes are glued to. I don't think they're all that bad either, but I'm just going to maintain what I said earlier in terms of I wanted to love them so much more. I thought they'd be maybe a bit more innovative. I am keeping into account certain things with how they are funded by LordTech, so, they're not their per se individual suits, but even with context aside, it doesn't mean that I'm as impressed as I want to be. Not a big fan of the kind of leather approach outside of Mr. Terrific, although I will also probably include in my video on Friday what Action Pact said with how, in addition to my theory of how Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific is probably working in Maxwell Lord's R&D department to allow his creative genius abilities to be fully unleashed, he also makes these other superhero suits, which I hadn't really thought of before. But again, it still doesn't mean that I really like it that much. But I think what I'm going to try and come to terms with by Friday in that video is will that mean they get their own individual suit in by the end of the movie, or won't they? And the annoying thing is, when I talk about that in Friday's video, I know some people are going to regard that as me coping. I'm like, no, I'm not coping. I'm just genuinely curious about it. If these are made by LordTech and Mr. Terrific, and let's just say that each of these other heroes haven't had too much experience of their own, so this is their first superhero suit as a part of the Justice League International, they could still go on to get their own suit, but will we see that by the end of this movie? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So, like, we still just have to work with what we've got, and it's not that impressive to me. I still, you know, yeah, I'll say the chocolate analogy as well. I'll say the chocolate. I can't speak right now. The chocolate analogy. If you weren't here earlier, I was basically saying, long story long here. If you're a big chocolate fan, sure, if somebody gave you a brand that you would never buy, yeah, sure, like, I'm a fan of chocolate, so I like it, you know, I guess, to an extent, but it's something I would never really go for myself. I would actually never buy it, or pick it out. But sure, I'm a fan of DC in this analogy, and I like superhero suits, and I like these characters, so I can respect and appreciate what they went for with this chocolate recipe, but I'm not going to buy it still. I wouldn't buy it. So that's kind of how I feel about these suits. That's the only way I can put it. If you've just joined the stream, you'll know that might make some more sense to you. It's not something I would go for myself. I would just order the same old chocolate bar. But that's fine. Yeah, there's no photos of Lex yet. There is a set photo of Nicholas Hoult being shielded by umbrellas on set, and you know, but he wasn't in like a suit or anything like that. So he was just like going between set, maybe observing filming that day. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by Twitter. Just making sure. Because I feel like sometimes around about this time you do get little glimpses here and there of new peeps at the Superman set. And speaking of which, let me double check something. Jonas, this is the third account I've had to make on YouTube. Wait, what? Why? Trying to see if there's anything more coming out. And there is a way of... Okay, no, they've wrapped filming in that location. So where they filmed the scene of them flying down and coming in with that group of... like that crowd of people, they're gone from that location. So I mean, they might be in the surrounding area, but they're not on that grass patch. Anyway, JD, Green Lantern ain't recognizable, needs more individuality. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, you can see the logos on his shoulder and the belt. Again, it is more of a uniform, so I get what they're going for. Plus, you know, I'm sure the CG of the Green Lantern, like hovering, I'm sure he'll be engulfed in a bit of a green hue. So I think that would be blatant enough, to be fair. Like, as I said, I do prefer Guy Gardner's look, but I think that's not saying too much because comparatively between him and Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner wears a bit of a leathery kind of look anyway in the comics. Whereas, you know, Hawkgirl, even though I understand this is a LordTech uniform, if you will. I keep saying if you will, but I would still prefer her to be a... You know, it just doesn't look right with her in the exact same attire, even with context in mind. Hey, Sarah, how you doing? It's raining hard in Cleveland right now. Okay, yeah, I did hear that it might rain today from one of the photographers, so maybe they didn't maybe they didn't get too much. Sorry, I keep getting distracted, but yeah, I just heard from OBV Photography that where they're filming now is surrounded by every big building in the city. Right. Okay, I think we're up to date. Oh, no, wait. Cedric sent in a super chat. Car decals for the Boba store. I think I got Boba stickers in there, but I don't know if they're like car decals. Decals. Can't say that word. But I do need to plug the Boba store more. My Boba hat's around here somewhere. Yeah, no, Antonio, I covered that in a news video. You know, the age ranges, you know, with regards to the rookie John Stewart. And I can't remember how they worded it with Hal Jordan, but it matched up to the leaks. So, you know, I've covered this before. Very, very much so aware. I was very excited about that. This is why I recommend tuning in to all my news roundups. Like, sure, they're long, but you can skip around the timestamps to different stories that I cover. You keep saying they're Justice League International, but you have no evidence of that. I do not have firm evidence of that, no. It's something by Lord, but probably not that. See, that's where I'd find that hard to believe. If Maxwell Lord is involved, and there's a few very big cluing characters here who are also involved with Justice League International, you know, thus the speculation that we do here most days on the channel leads me to believe strongly that it's an iteration of Justice League International. I have said the word proto-Justice League International because I wasn't even sure myself if this would be like a fully fledged Justice League International team, if that makes sense. So I do agree with you to an extent. So I do think LordTech has started his initiative of a superhero team, even if it's not quite called the Justice League International. That could be coming the more we get into Booster Gold. So, believe it or not, I have actually echoed that in a way already in the stream and in previous videos. Zachary says, they all have the same emblem on their chest. Their costumes were given to them. I know. We've been talking about that for the past couple of hours. I don't know if you just joined, but very aware. Boba's tea. My god, yeah, we get into the drama. Will Maxwell Lord be like Stan Edgar? Probably not as polarizing. I get what you're saying, but with Gunn's take on the character and what he's teased already, he's going to be a bit more... you know, again, I saw somebody tweet out saying Maxwell Lord is evil, but Gunn's version's not going to be evil. Like, he's going to be a bit more, I guess, nuanced, as we went over earlier. No worries, Zachary. No worries at all. It's just funny. I keep seeing people say that. This is why I was thinking, do I make a video, even though I couldn't get into the photos too much, or do I make a live stream? And I thought I'd go live for a change. I did like the video of Superman hugging citizens. We went over that video in this stream today. I've got somebody sent me a video of it. Right, I think we're all up to date with Super Chats. Oh man, I didn't realize how long I've been streaming for. Holy. 2.5 hours. AK, yeah, I'm going to be covering that a bit more on Friday, I think. I did see that they're looking to film in Cincinnati, and there's some teasers, some low-key teasers that Greater Cleveland Partnership uploaded to their Instagram and Twitter, I believe, of the Hall of Justice. But not that it's necessarily established right now, but it was like a... You'll see it if you go to their Instagram, and I'm going to lean into that a bit more and give more thoughts on the Hawkgirl thing and Guy Gardner on Friday. How many insider sources do you have on set? You seem to know a lot more than most. Not many, no. For me, it's very few and far between. So for Superman, I've only spoke to extras Didn't really learn too much, just a few tidbit details. I had a very good source on the Batman, but I don't think I'll be getting that for the Batman Part 2. I had a very good source for the Penguin. But those, you know, those are kind of over now, you know? So I'm going to have to wait and see where things go in the future. But, you know, I'm not one of those people who flaunts being like, oh, I have all of these sources. I know everything. No. But it is pretty cool when you do get some legit stuff in the DMs. You got the source. Robert Pattinson for DCU. How are people okay if the second Batman is flying over my head? It's simple. Like, different universes, I'm okay with it. Matt Reeves doesn't want to be connected to a larger universe. It doesn't need to be. I'm pretty sure people can cope with having a different character in a different universe. It's not overwhelming to the point of where it's that confusing, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I get why people want it. Like you, maybe, Atta. You know, I get where you're coming from, but, like, it's, you know. Treek, I've been saying that for a while. Like, I absolutely want a JSA prequel in the 1940s. Said that many times myself. Yeah, funnily enough, like the first Captain America movie. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, the Batman was very profitable versus that of like a, you know... No, yeah, we wouldn't go beyond the Batman 3. That's if we're lucky enough to get the Batman Part 3. Della says, oh, you're live. Good. I don't know if anyone asked yet. But what are your thoughts on the new suits, especially Green Lantern? Oh, man, that's all we've been talking about for the past 2.5 hours. Sorry, I just got sent. Oh, man, that's so irritating. That's a very good photo, though, but, like, so close to seeing people in the suits. But I think they're all cloaked up. Sorry, I just got sent a photo. But I think all the cast were, like, cloaked up and with their suits hidden. That's so close yet so far. Sorry, this is all totally off screen, but I'm just kind of looking. Right. Well, yeah, no, where was I? So, do I like the suits? Not as much as I wanted to. In fact, I was pretty like, you know. I do have a lot to say about it that I'm going to kind of condense down into a video on Friday. You know, we've, you know, I've untangled a bit of my thoughts in here, had some good suggestions, some expansions on what I was already thinking, but, you know, no matter what, I'll maintain what I said. I don't like it nearly as much as I wanted to. And again, it's gonna have to come down to that chocolate analogy. Just you wait for Friday's video. When I upload it, I'll be like, look, if you want to understand the way I feel, you're gonna have to listen to this. But again, I need to say it one more time. By all means, I don't think they're terrible, but I just don't think they're that great either. Like, and by that, that's still me being quite kind. Like, I really don't think they're that good remotely compared to how I feel about the Superman suit. Luke says, maybe it's early 2000s in me talking, but I feel that mostly responding to paid comments is scummy. Your channel is built on the majority, not the pay to wins. I mean, I don't see it that way, the way you articulated that. I entertain the live chat for a long period of time. Sometimes streams don't get any super chats, maybe one or two. I always consider myself lucky if I do get one. But if somebody's going to the extent of spending their hard-earned money on me and supporting the channel that way, I don't think it's outlandish to prioritize that chat. But then I normally go back to the live chat, you know? I don't think that's scummy, but you know, I do interact with the live chat, but when there's like 300 people in the stream, you know, it's hard to like make everyone feel involved. Thank you, exactly my thoughts. Hawkgirl looks fine, but Green Lantern... Actually, you know, Dilla, I kind of feel the other way around. Don't get me wrong, I know what you mean with regards to Green Lantern, like... It's different from the Guy Gardner Green Lantern look, that we're used to, but again, as I know you weren't here, but we've been exploring how obviously these are LordTech supplied suits. It's a uniform, if anything, with little elements of their own comic book flair to each hero. Like, you know, Guy Gardner has bits of green and stuff. But I think with Hawkgirl, the leather, because Guy Gardner has leather on him anyway, it kind of works even with the different color scheme than what we're used to with his character. But with Hawkgirl, I just feel like, I know she has the hard helmet, but the leather doesn't really do it for me in terms of what I think she had the potential to look like. I'm not saying I said this right at the beginning, but I'm not saying she had to have Black Adam level of Hawkman, like nth metal armor, but just something. Like, I feel like even if the shoulder pauldrons were a bit more robust, or it would have complemented the material she has for a helmet. And I think that would have been a big difference to me. Like, if they had the similar materials on the helmets on her helmet for her shoulders, instead she has like a little kind of black kind of shoulder pauldron. She had that there, and she had van braces here, and knee pads there to kind of break up that leather look. Then I think I would have been a lot more amenable to, even though it's a LordTech uniform. I don't know. But again, as we've kind of gone over, maybe there is that theory of what I've said before, but expanded on by Action Pact here. Mr. Terrific could be working for LordTech. That's how he could unleash his creative genius. And he could have made these suits, which are more in line with his Mr. Terrific uniform. So, you know, there is reasons for it. But again, doesn't mean people have to like it. It just is what it is. Guy Gardner suit sucks. Shame what they did to my favorite Green Lantern. White C says, love your channel, man. You're the one who I come to first for anything DC. Thank you very much, dude. Really appreciate hearing that. I hope Reeves doesn't overexpand his universe. I don't think he will, actually. Again, I think it's quite likely we're not going to get as much as we originally were going to. You know, there's no Arkham series anymore. There's no GCPD series as far as we're aware. So I think we'll be lucky to get more than the Penguin. I think it depends on the Penguin's success, actually. Depending on how good and how well that show performs, could really kind of whet the appetite for those at Warner Brothers Discovery to entertain the idea of more Elseworlds shows. But I think ideally they do want to consolidate things down a little bit and prioritize the DCU. That's not me. Let me rephrase that. That's not me leaning into the whole idea of, oh my god, James Gunn's sabotaging the Batverse. No. But like I'm also like aware that they want that to be their flagship. And so I think they'll take it one thing at a time. Praying the script is great, at least. Oh, me too. Me too. Sean says he doesn't just respond to super chats. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's been in live chat solely for that last 10 minutes. That is true. That's how I even read out that chat at the time. Yeah, it's very... Yeah, that's a good idea. Good comparison with Diggle from the good old Arrowverse. Yeah, I was a lot more up for Nathan Fillion compared to some of the other reactions to his casting. That's the thing I'm undecided on, Alexandros. I don't think we should go with the idea of like, oh, you know, these are suit 1 and then by the end of the movie there's suit 2. I'm not saying that won't happen, but I do think that the Justice League International or Proto Justice League International, whatever the heck this is, we know it's Maxwell Lord's Lordtech, obviously, and so we're thinking it could be Justice League International to an extent. But I don't think we should assume that arc or like whatever that could be is over by the end of this movie. So it's very hard to know. That's where no matter what, I just don't like it when people state things as facts out there online when I see it on Twitter. And I'm not saying you were saying this, but a lot of people like, hey, they're gonna get their second suit by like Act 3, and it's like, we don't know that. So like, to be honest, don't set yourself up for those expectations. If that happens, then great. It'd be pretty sick if they had their own like unique ones. And you know, you could argue that Superman inspires to get them their own suits, so by the end, like if they all meet up again, Superman with his metahuman compatriots, they could be like, yeah, you know what? Here's our new ones. What do you think, Kal-El? And there could be something like that. But I don't think we should. I don't think we should think that's gonna happen. You sound really upset or just disappointed about this. Do I? I don't think I sound. I mean, yeah, I guess disappointed. Do I feel disappointed? Maybe. I guess. Would you say this has ruined your excitement? No, not at all. This has not ruined my excitement for the DCU, Daniel. No, I wouldn't say that. No, I'm just, again, I wanted to love the suits of Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner a lot more, and I just don't. It's as simple as that. I'm a bit bummed about it, but yeah, I'm not like hugely upset. No, just a bit like, that's a bit deflating. Like, I was hoping for to love it, but. I've just seen that there's new set photos of Hawkgirl from a front-on view, which is pretty cool. Sorry, just responding to someone. Right. Sean thinks they're definitely getting second suits, in my opinion. See, that's the conviction I get concerned about. Don't get me wrong, like, I have conviction with some things. Well, I don't know when it comes to plot, to be honest. Like, you should never be dead set on things. But, they're definitely getting second suits. I don't know about that. Like what are you gonna do then if this is just their suits for the Lordtech provided suits? How are you gonna feel about that? Like, what if they don't have another one until sometime a little bit later in the DCU? Like, I'm not saying late, by the way. I'm talking like whatever next installment, so we see them in. That's why I advise just being a bit more fluid with speculation, and predictions and whatnot. Right, guys, I think with that being said, I'm sorry to those of you who have just joined recently, but I have kind of, I think, repeated myself a lot in this stream, so I don't want to, you know, keep going round in circles about the same stuff, but those are my thoughts so far on what we got today. I will be going more in depth on Friday, I think, because I'm going to think and theorize a bit more behind the scenes. Maybe, you know, see what else we've got on set, talk about some other news about, you know, with regards to filming in Cincinnati, the Hall of Justice, maybe, and whatnot, and any other news that we get. Actually, you know what? Wait, before we go, let me run a poll. I should have done this earlier, goddammit. Start a poll. Before I go, I would love for you guys to vote on this. Okay, go, vote. Before I leave, don't worry, I'm not going to go in 10 seconds, but would love for you guys to... I'd love to see where this lands between the community. Okay. That's kind of where I was vibing. Like, this is why earlier I didn't want to say they're like outright bad, but I just don't like them as much as I wanted to, so they're just like okay, and that's not really obviously what you want to say about suits that you're, you know, anticipating. Yeah, I would agree with what Action Pack said. For what they are, Lord-funded, terrific suits, they're okay. Yeah, I'm somewhere in between the bottom option and they're okay. I would definitely not say I'm between they're okay and love them. No, I can't say that. That would be an absolute lie. I can't say I'm somewhere in between I love them and they're okay. I would say like I'm just middling on like they're okay and just, you know, a little bit like my meter is like, you know, somewhere in between that. And, you know, that's a bit of a bummer, as I've, you know, gone over, because, you know, you want to be like, oh, yeah, that's sick, man. Look at the Superman suit. I know I've been dying on that hill saying I like it, but then, you know, Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific suit was sick. Like, most people agreed on that one. But then you get Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl here. Granted that they're, again, Lordtech-funded suits. It's a bit like, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, Jackson, I've seen the new Hawkgirl look. We touched on that a second ago. Not that I can frickin' show it. Because it's from Cleveland.com. Why is Cleveland.com the only people getting the photos of these heroes? Because they don't want me to use their photos, even though everyone else is using them. I have to admit, though, like, granted that these are Lordtech funded suits, you cannot deny how the kind of approach to Hawkman in Black Adam was leagues beyond the leather jumpsuit. Like, that just can't be denied. And I know, like, that may be a silly comparison, but all I mean is, like, hey, like, the ambition of execution that you're gonna go for with your materials. That's all I'm on about. Like, I just see that, like, I just saw, like, bloody My Time Shine Hello's tweet saying the downgrade is insane. And while I often don't like engagement baiting tweets like that, it kind of does show, like, why I'm a bit, like, bummed about it. Again, I need to stress, I am applying how I know these are, like, given to them by Lordtech and possibly created by Mr. Terrific, so that's why they have a bit of, you know, Michael Holt's Mr. Terrific leather look to it, because as we know, he likes his leather jumpsuit, his jacket and stuff. But it still doesn't, like, you know, be an objective comparison here, where I'm looking at one suit which has a lot more innovation in it, and then I'm just seeing Isabella Merced, of whom I'm still really looking forward to seeing her character, by the way. Like, really, really still rooting for her, and I hope I grow to love the suit more over time, but there's no denying which one's more sleeker. Yeah, no, I do like that theory, Action Pact. It does make sense. Like, you basically did the DLC to the theory I already had cooking in terms of how I think Michael Holt is employed already by Maxwell Lord. And now we've seen these suits. Yeah, makes sense, right? Like, he made his own suit with the bankrolling of Maxwell Lord, and now he's done their suits as well. I guess maybe he could have even helped recruit them, or did Maxwell Lord do that himself? I don't know, but like, it's gonna be very interesting. How dare you have your own opinion, Boba? Wait, what the hell? Oh god, my headset just made a noise. That was well freaky. Okay, so 60% of people think it's just okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I think Superman looks great. Right. Okay, so the poll has been done. I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for joining me for like almost 3 hours today. I know it's been a bit of a ramble and a bit of going round in circles, but I think that's just the nature of it when we get new people joining and saying, "Hey, Boba, did you see the LordTech symbol on the suit?" I'm like, "Yes." We've just been talking about it. So it's been a bit of regurgitating, but I'm kind of quite a repetitive person, so I do enjoy doing that. Anyway, see you guys. I'm going to do a review on The Boys tomorrow, unless there's something insanely breaking. That's my video tomorrow, and on Friday, we will be getting into this even more. So until then, appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for super chatting. If you want to join my Discord server, right before I leave, there will be a link that I spam in the chat in 3, 2, 1, and goodbye.